Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the stream. My name is Isaac Rhythm Arredondo,
And I am Devin, TheDoc O'Connor.
and we are so excited to bring you everything Miami League of Legends this semester.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be another great season of action, and we got a brand new roster to introduce to you guys. I'm really excited about these new players that we have, and I'm really excited about the changes that Riot Games has made to the game we all know and love. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new shakeups, so maybe you can run us through some of the new additions to our
Yes,
roster.
of course, this is the second week of ESC League of Legends play, but this is the first match for Miami. Last week, they had a bye on Monday, and then on Wednesday, they benefit from a win, rather, since Akron forfeit that match. However, tonight they will be playing against Central Michigan University. They are 0-2 currently with losses to both OU and Kent State. Now, you did allude to this a little bit earlier. Both teams are fielding 5 new players on the Rift. No player on the Rift tonight was in this same matchup last year. So, Central Michigan in the top lane will be bringing Gato Cat,
Okay.
Pride in the jungle, Gray Swag in the mid lane, with Dark as the AD carry, with either Raspberry or Intoner as the support.
I like Raspberry. I want to see
Raspberry's a
Raspberry.
good name. I like
Yeah,
that
I
one.
I purely decide based on the name, my preference in players usually. So yeah, I'm excited to see who they field, but if it isn't Raspberry, I will admit I will be slightly disappointed.
I will as well. However, like we mentioned, Miami, a full brand new 5 set of players here. We'll go from top to bottom, of course, with Kins, Egoist Nakazawa in the top lane. We have Younggen X Lu in the jungle, Jack WGFY Lee in the mid lane, with Christian Solozak Tarzia as our AD carry, and Jen Beans Lu as our support.
Yeah, so some familiar faces there. We've seen a couple of those players kind of rotate in and out of the roster, depending on substitutions for last season. So not totally unfamiliar, but yeah, like a fresh start for us. And I'm hoping that they can replicate some of the same success we saw with our roster in the last season. Obviously, we went on a deep run there in playoffs, unfortunately losing to Northeastern in a close 5-game series during the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely hoping that we can see somewhat of a repeat and maybe even a better result towards the end. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I want to see how they mesh, but also kind of alluded to some of the new changes that we are seeing in the game as well. Some of them that I wanted to kind of run through over here. So for those who were playing a while back, First Blood is back again. That's one that I'm particularly fond of. I like to be a bit scrappy myself. So that means that once again, First Blood will now grant an additional 100 gold as well as the first tower. So that would mean you get an additional 300 gold for getting first tower as well. This will help you snowball, get to your first or second item more quickly. Another thing that is significant to note, it would help a lot of the whiny ADCs like the one I'm sitting next to. Crit strike damage has increased to 200% now.
Yes.
This will have kind of a effect for many different champions across the game, but mostly particularly focused on the ADC role. And then many ADCs had their crit scaling changed due to this feature. Another thing, more tailored to the bot lane as well, but more for the support side, Fey Light. So this is a very important vision thing added now. Basically, these little pockets that are highlighted for everyone. It's not just for supports, but they're mainly the ones who are going to be using it. You know, their designated job is to be placing these wards around the rift. It's these little pockets that you'll see once we get into game here shortly, which will allow you to place a ward or a control ward there, and it will highlight an entire area section of the map. And then it does cause your wards to decay a little bit faster. So it is a bit of a trade-off, but it gives you some really early game vision. It allows you to kind of track the jungler more efficiently early on, but you got to be mindful of how to use it. And it is kind of a beacon to the enemy support as well to know kind of where to clear and to sweep to make sure that you're not getting that free vision.
Yeah, also important to note, some of the neutral objectives have been taken out of the game. Because First Blood is back, we no longer have those feats of strength, so we're no longer really worried about those early game objectives or those kills counting up to 3. We're going back to good old League of Legends, how I know it when I started back in the day.
Yes.
There is no Otacon. Otacon is dead and no longer there. And because of that, the Baron timer has been reverted back to 20 minutes.
Yeah, some of the other things, it's kind of a general theme of this season. They wanted to increase the pace of play, less waiting around. And I think they did a really effective job. Another thing they changed was home guards. So now when you're leaving your base, you're constantly going to be fast. So that little burst of speed that you used to get temporarily is now going to last until you get back to your turret. That's going to help you get to across the map quickly, help you get back to lane, and help you route to those really important objectives. Yeah, I think it's very important you need to be more respectful. Dying in lane can be a lot more consequential, but also getting back is going to be facilitated. Another big thing with dying in lane, turret changes.
Yes.
So there's crystalline overgrowth now. Basically, you'll see again once we get into game, these turrets will start to accumulate these weird crystal-looking things, and that's called overgrowth. And attacking them deals extra damage the more that these crystals have kind of built up around the turret. And turret plating is no longer removed after 14 minutes. That's another notable change, but it does not give the same amount of gold that it used to. But it is, as you get more and more and more, the amount of gold that you're getting will go down. The outer turret will lose gold, armor, and magic resist every minute between the 11th and 15th minute marks, and inner turret plates no longer gain bonus resistance. So it is going to be actually easier to kind of split push, try and end the game, be a side lane threat. And inhib turrets also have turret plates and their resistances are changed. Another notable change is if you have 5 champions trying to take out a tower, that the resistances will skyrocket. So it's actually, sometimes you might see it tonight. It is actually better if you stack 4 champions trying to kill a tower. If you're trying to make a push to, let's say, in the game, you don't want to have all 5 members of your team pushing one lane, because that turret will become a beefy boy.
Right. Turrets are a lot different. The game's a lot different. And, our league is a little bit different too. Yeah. We're bringing all the changes this year. The ESC conference has adopted the Fearless Draft format. Of course, this is a best of 3 regular season. So tonight we'll be playing a best of 3. So whoever wins 2 first. But of course, Fearless means that a champion picked in the first game or in the second game cannot be used later. So say we lock in Varus in the first game. Varus is off the board for both teams for the rest of the series. And that is true for all champions the entire season. That is how Fearless works.
Yeah, and this is specific to each game, but essentially it is meant to kind of address, you might have a player that you like, but if they keep locking in the same champion every time, it's going to get a little stale. So it encourages players, our players in our league, to really flex their champion pool, those unique pocket picks that you might have, and it really causes coaches and everyone else to be more creative in the drafting process. You have to be mindful, especially when you get more towards those best of 5s and playoffs, of all the picks that are off the board, and really trying to find a lot of like niche areas that you can flex and cool comps. So I'm a big fan of it. It's been, it's taken off by storm throughout competitive play. It's really popular.
Yeah.
I think almost it's universal now.
I think you'd be crazy not to enjoy the Fearless Draft format. It is just such a new fresh take on the game, and you see a lot more of a diverse champion pools from players, things that you normally wouldn't see, and it promotes a lot of innovation in the space. So I'm very excited. One thing as well that we want to just shout out, our amazing graphics team. As you can see, we have a whole new stream overlay. Our graphics on our socials are completely different. Our graphics team is amazing. Go give them love on Twitter at RedHawksGG. We're also on Instagram at RedHawksGG. Please give our graphic designers some love. They worked super hard on all of this.
Yeah, they've been cooking. I mean, look at my O in my name down here. It's really neat looking. Another thing that was cooked up was some new items. So we'll see a couple of these maybe in the game, depending on what champions are picked. I'm imagining we might see a Gwen.
I hope so. I hope so.
That is a champion that has become incredibly strong among many. She really benefits from a new item called Dusk and Dawn, and there's several new other ones. I won't run through all of them, but if we happen to see them in game, I can kind of break down their new abilities, kind of their niches, champions that you might see them be built on. But we got a lot of fun ones. So yeah, I mean, you will likely see a bunch of these because they're very popular. They're quite good, I'd say. And it's cool because it's kind of thrown some variety as well into a lot of the builds that we're seeing. Seeing these new options for a lot of the champions, and then old items also making their return. Stormrazor, that's one that is incredibly popular for kind of some of the more immobile ADCs, or ones that people that want to go fast.
The Aphelioses of the world.
Yeah, so that is definitely one that has been making an appearance. And as you mentioned, feats of strength removed. So we have the role quests.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's kind of the new overarching system that you'll see. So each role has a kind of a dedicated responsibility that is
Yes.
given at the beginning of the game, and then um, the more that you do the things that you are supposed to be doing, like ADCs, farming, and uh, minion kills, turret plates, all that stuff, will allow you to kind of progress and get more points. And these points will accumulate, and then you complete your role quest. And then by doing that, you are rewarded with certain things that are relevant to your role. So mid lane gets those empower boots that we saw previously in like the Noxus
Yes,
season,
they get the
Ionia
tier
season.
3 boots.
The
Yeah.
tier 3 boots. Top lane gets a teleport as a bonus summoner spell. If you already have teleport, though, you'll receive a shield after using it, and they get a higher level cap. And those are more of the notable ones. The other ones, they have some more changes, like ADC gets an extra item slot. So basically, boots are integrated, so they can actually truly be full build.
Yep.
And support gets some like weird vision. They get like an extra slot for control wards. And yeah, I mean, it is kind of a unique angle to kind of promote you doing things that you would normally be doing anyway, but it just kind of gives you a fun incentive. So now everyone kind of has like that quest that the supports had,
Yeah.
in there that was kind of built into their item. So really like those changes. Kind of again some more encouragement to keep being proactive in the game. But hopefully we'll see that come into play today. I'm sure we will. And yeah, I mean, Riot in general, I think did a pretty phenomenal job speeding up the game, making it feel more meaningful, and really, I'm so excited to see what kind of shenanigans we can get up to. So.
I am as well. But of course, we can't change everything on you. And so we will keep one constant throughout the season. And that, of course, is the Laldol. If we can cue that up, production. I have been itching to play this all day. I've been cooking up a storm. Give me Talia.
Oh my. No, we got to start Ashe, man.
We'll start Ashe.
Yeah, Ashe is the go-to. We see Silas was the champion yesterday.
See how we do here. Female.
All right, good start.
Not
Probably
an 80 carry.
Wait, range
semi.
Whoa.
It could be like in the least something that like ranged and melee.
It's a female. Yeah, ranged. So it would have to be
2009. Oh, a Nidalee.
Yeah, go for
good.
a Nidalee here. Good. We're gonna lock that in. And that is into.
Look at us go, man.
To a hot start already. This is a good sign for what's going to be coming for this night. An Iron.
That's got to be Ornn, right? That's got to be Ornn.
I don't think so. An Iron Will. I think this is Zin's. This is tough. It could be Ornn because
I'm going to throw Ornn into the
okay,
mix.
I'm skeptical, but we can run with Ornn.
I mean, Iron Forged.
I think that is like Zinzao. I'm not going to lie to you.
That reminds me of our producer.
Forged.
Shout out our producer.
Oh, it is.
Hey,
okay.
Look at that.
Yeah. So that well played. I was skeptical, but yeah, that is true. Forge kind of gives it away. Oh, wow. Whoa, this is so hard.
This
is
that's Jinx. I didn't see.
Okay. If you didn't get that, you would have been off the desk. I'm sorry. That is just that is literally the champion.
Get excited.
In the portrait. She's just this way. That is a passive.
The passive. Yep.
She's looking pretty excited.
I didn't realize it was Jinx's face.
She heard about some of the new changes, some of the roster changes. She is thrilled. That is an eagle. I'm gonna have to say Quinn on this one.
I fully agree.
Made an appearance.
I'm skeptical. It might be Anivia as well, but
Anivia. No, Anivia feels right though. Okay, we're good.
See, it was
okay. You
wow,
know why?
We're cooking.
Yeah, we are cooking. But do you know why? Because she made it. Okay, this is Diego. No, Samira. This is Samira.
That's Samira.
Samira. Yeah. So we're gonna lock Samira, and that's gonna be the ultimate skin. Soul Fighter, as he said. But yeah, I mean, Quinn made a very rare appearance in a cinematic. They actually remembered that she existed. And she was in the new Demacia cinematic. Really big fan.
Soul Fighter. That is the Soul Fighter.
Yeah, Soul Fighter. Very expensive sin.
Man, and then is that it? Wow. We blitzed through
let's scroll down. Let's scroll down.
Show me the stats, Prod. Show me the stats.
We need to get an ad blocker, but
it was a 2-1-1-1 on everything.
Yeah, else? I think basically almost perfect. So
wow,
really impressive stuff from our casters. We're gonna hope that we can keep up that performance for the rest of the semester, because that is a great way to segue into some awesome League of Legends action. Because let's just hope our team can perform as well as us, because we're just so blessed with talent. We're going to head to a quick break here, and then we'll get draft to you guys very soon.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And here we are getting right into draft. Central Michigan did select blue side for this game. But Devin, I got to ask you, what kind of things are we expected to see? What have we seen in pro play so far this split?
So in pro play, there's certain champions that have been kind of habitually popping up. Varus is one we see a lot of. Malphite Jungle actually is something that has, weirdly enough, been super prevalent. Jace Jungle, I don't really think we're going to see that unless people are feeling frisky. Nice Jace. But yeah, another thing, Rumble, really popular. Nico support still in the meta. And Bessa with those million dashes is going to be something that teams have to be wary of. Yunara, very strong, new champion, obviously.
Well, they're just blitzing through it here. We have a Gragas, Rengar, and Aurora picked out for
Cool.
Central Michigan, with the Aatrox, Xin Zhao, and Akali picked for Miami University. And we do see that Gwen banned out first pick by Central Michigan.
Yeah, no shocker there. Gwen really benefiting from a lot of the new item changes, really good as a side lane threat. Really like to see that Xin Zhao, great kind of team fight control, as well as the Aatrox, another really popular champion, actually being flex jungle. uh, along or quite frequently. Akali, though, always fun to see. We got some assassins. Akali making kind of a resurgence, a renaissance almost,
Yeah.
with the addition of Hextech Gunblade. That's another new item that has been brought back. Very popular on those kind of assassin hybrid champions. And we see the Jin locked in. We see this guy. I've never seen him so
I love
excited.
Jin. I love Jin games.
And we got a pretty insane team fight comp from Central Michigan. Rakan, Aurora, another champion we see pretty popular. Jin, Jin Karma, very popular, speedy bot lane. A lot of
Yeah.
range for Miami University in their bot lane. We got some good poke. We got some good team fight. Really like the draft from both sides. I think the Rengar, kind of stands out to me a little bit.
It's an odd pick
Yeah.
for this level of play.
Maybe it's a comfort pick from the side of Central Michigan because I don't know. I think that Rengar is kind of a feast or famine champ to
Right.
me. I think if he gets set behind, obviously the Bone Tooth Necklace is passive,
Mhm.
very important that he's ganking. All over the map. He needs to get a takedown on every member of the enemy team in order to proc that, get the extra attack damage. But if he does get ahead, whoo boy, that is going to be a nightmare for the Jin, for a lot of these squishy champions. But I think Xin Zhao is going to be able to battle him pretty effectively.
I want to point out that Aatrox as well. Egoist, we know, loves playing these carry top laners, the Gwens, the Aatroxes, and this is one of his champions that I've seen him play to a quite great degree.
Yeah.
He can really do some work on this Aatrox. We just hope that maybe that X can give some help that Xin Zhao into the top lane to get a lead on that Gragas to just start hard carrying this game. Because, I mean, Aatrox is a champion that can just delete Ashe off the face of the planet.
Yeah, and kind of a interesting setup here with the team fight from Central Michigan. I think I like the Gragas with the Yunara, but it's kind of like it kind of, you want to put them in an area, but then you also
Right.
kind of explode them. And then it's going to make it maybe even a little bit harder to get the charm from the Rakan ult on all the members if they're kind of flying everywhere, getting kind of slowed. So it's interesting. A lot of CC, a lot of good Merc treads value, boots of swiftness. There's so many different slows on that comp, but I'm interested to see. I think mid lane is going to be really important, as it always is. It's despite the changes that Riot tries to make, mid lane will always be this super impactful role. So I imagine we're going to have a lot of eyes there.
Yeah, and I do love this Karma pick from Beans. We know that Beans rather, loves playing this champion. It's Karma and Leona that we see Beans playing a lot. But Jin, it's not a pick that we see solo Zach on a lot. However, with the Karma, it complements Jin so well. Jin, one of those really immobile champions, but Karma with the speed boost with the shield really gives a lot more agency to Jin and just opens up the game a lot more for that champion.
Yeah, and he's not going to get caught up in all the hustle and bustle that we see with this team fight. So hopefully he's able to play far enough away, leverage his ult to really not get caught up in the explosive cask, the the between worlds from the Yunara, or not Yunara, sorry, the Aurora. A lot of different team fight threats there, but the Jin can kind of leverage his long range, his distance, and hopefully not get picked off by the Rengar. And that sounds like a winning recipe for success to me. I think more looking towards the top lane. I think this is definitely going to be fun for the Aatrox. Does definitely struggle. I mean, not struggle. It feels good to play into more of the tanky Gragas style. Interesting to see if he will go kind of the double AD threat with the Aurora. Pardon, and kind of go more for the damage / poke. but curious to see if he actually leverages more of the frontline Gragas.
Yeah, you bring up that tanky Gragas as well. Jhin, we know, does not do well famously into takes.
Yes.
If you are picking Jhin into a Scion, you are trolling. You are not going to win.
Yes.
But I'm seeing a squishy support. I'm seeing
Yeah.
a squishy mid laner. I'm seeing a squishy jungler. If Solozak can get ahead on this Jhin, maybe build some lethality, maybe even crit with the speed Jhin,
Yeah.
this thing's going to be doing a lot of work on this team.
It's going to be hard to kill too. Those Karma shields have gotten bigger and bigger every season.
They're massive.
I know. And then so Karma actually is a champion that does benefit from some of the new items. We might see her build. There's this one called Whispering Circlet. It's a mana item, and it essentially gives you more heal and shield power. As we mentioned, that's really important stat for Karma, going kind of that supportive build. And it gives you max mana, and it will transform into an even better item that we will see if you stack it enough. So it's kind of one of those Manamune type items, Seraph's items.
Seraphs, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see that make an appearance with the Karma, and that Stormraiser, aforementioned Stormraiser, probably will see that on the Jhin.
Yes.
You'd have to imagine. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be into the game very, very shortly. Stick around.
And welcome back to the Rift for the first matchup of the season. Miami University going up against Central Michigan University. And we're already a little bit into the game. We had a little bit of some tech difficulties, but things are off to a pretty uneventful start.
Yeah, the mythical KDA Gragas spotted in the top lane. Really big fan of that skin. And as we're seeing some of the push of the kind of the poke comp that we're seeing, the Jhin probably going to get a lot of energy. But hold on. We got a little bit of trading. The Aurora obviously going to be favored a little bit early on. Macaulay having to stay back up, going to collect some minions under the tower. And you see those little crystals starting to work their way above these towers here. on the red side. Those are the crystalline overgrowth that I talked about earlier. And as those start to accumulate, like I said, more damage done to the towers. So dying early on does actually matter. And hold on, maybe some action.
A little bit of action going here in the mid lane. Do want to point out as well that the junglers have started on parallel paths. They both started from that top side of the jungle and will be working their way down to the bot lane. So we could see some action here soon, but we do see Egoist walking into the jungle, trying to get some vision, trying to see where that Rengar is. And I also want to point out the fleet footwork on the Jhin, going for a little bit more lane sustain rather than that bursty electrocute build that you can do. Yeah, or the Dark Harvest, excuse me.
Yeah, as well as the Unsealed Spellbook on that Rakan. Maybe going to try and leverage that, use some teleport, get back to lane quicker, and great placement of the skill shots here on the Aatrox. Going to try and just get some good trades in the lane. Struggling a little bit with the mana is this Gragas, but he's just going to hang around. Look phenomenal as a KDA member. Look at him back in there. And so far, not too much, like you said, going on. Maybe more trades in the mid lane. Some skill shots going to go wide. And yeah, pushing in there. Both junglers maybe trying to make a play, like you said, bot side, but we do see Rengar has elevated, trying to get that Scuttle Crab.
WGFY going for a recall here. Will be stopped by the Aurora, but has to be a little bit careful. Going in with the E, trying to find the kill onto the Aurora, but here comes the Rengar. I don't think there's much that WGFY can do here. Aurora going to flash. The flash from the Akali in response. We do see Xin Zhao walking up, and wow, that was a close one. But Akali escapes with her life.
Yeah, playing with a bit of ego there, using a lot of her mobility-ish spells. And the Rengar notices that, tries to capitalize with the gank, is not going to find it. Both flashes, though, expended. So we do see the jungle and mid of CMU, both flashless. Going to see if we can capitalize.
And you did see that ward just placed by Egoist there in that bush. You can kind of see this faint yellow circle that's there. That is the Phaelite. You can kind of see the little fairies that were kind of flying around in the river. They have vision of that entire space, Miami does, because of those Phaelites. But we see here, Solo, Zach, and Beans getting putting up some pressure here in this lane. 5 CS up on the Jhin over that Ashe, and Beans trying to find some good poke. Will try to find something onto Raspberry, misses the tether, while Solo Zach misses the deadly flourish.
Yeah, Empowered Mantra Q going to land there. Some additional poke onto the Rakan. But speaking of not having a great time and pressure in lane, this top lane has just been constantly pushed in. Obviously, Aatrox going to be feasting in this early matchup. Does pretty well into more of the tanky style of mobile top laners. So definitely going to benefit. Really already accumulating a bit of a CS lead. Pretty even in the mid lane, both flashless. But Kali did opt to take that Ignite and maybe a little bit of gank here.
Looking for something onto the Aurora, but nothing will come to it. The Xin Zhao is just going to try to head down to Dragon. The Rengar is there too, so we might have a fight here breaking out around this Dragon, but we've yet to see. But of course, like you mentioned, Egoist almost 10 CS up, already 10 CS up, just 5 minutes into this game. This is a great lead for the Aatrox.
Yeah, already establishing early dominion over this laning phase, and we're not really seeing Rengar opt to Tango near that top side, not really going to capitalize on this pushing state. Ego is allowed to play with a lot of agency, and as long as they keep vision of that jungler, he's gonna know that he can keep playing with this kind of reckless abandon, making sure that he's pushing. We see the solo kill.
First blood for Egoist in the top lane. Unfortunately, we didn't catch it on camera, but this is only going to send this Aatrox to the moon.
Yeah, like we said, really, first blood is so much more impactful now. It's not just contributing to feats strength.
And here we have a fight breaking out. WGFY did get caught out. The Between Worlds from the Aurora does come out, trying to run away from the Rengar. However, Xin Zhao and Karma are here to support. Rengar forced to back out. The flash from X going in, trying to find the kill. The healing from Rengar isn't going to get him enough down. And I think both teams are just going to back up here. WGFY still kind of low, but has so much mobility on this Akali.
Yeah, kind of crazy exchange there, really close from both sides. Luckily, the Avengers were able to show up towards the mid lane, bail out the Akali from what looked like a sure death to the Rengar. Was able to use that old leverage it, to get some more distance and then wait for backup to arrive. But unfortunately, no kills going down. We are going to see that flash expended from Xin Zhao, trying to pick up a kill on that Rengar, but is going to use the W to heal back up and avoid an untimely fate. So at the end, just a trade of a lot of summoners. Beans was in the area, wasn't able to land that empowered Mantra Q. There again, we see the flash of the Fey Lights as he wards that bush, gives him vision.
Egoist going in, trying to find something on Gato. Won't find the Q3. Almost sidesteps the E. But again, Egoist, 10 CS up here, 7 minutes. Did get first blood, has so much gold. He's looking for more, but WGFY playing with fate here a little bit early into this game.
Yeah, look at these crystals growing, and we do see the Rengar in the area. Looks like he might just opt for a back. Is going to be a little bit tough to dive.
Setting up for a dive, but Karma is here. They are going to collapse onto this Rengar. That's just great vision from Miami University, but a great ultimate from the Gragas breaks the fight up. Beans here to put some more damage onto the Rengar, but they're just going to donate this kill over to the Akali. Meanwhile, Beans aggressively flashing for the tether, will get it. Here comes the tether from Aatrox, and they're just trying to burst Gato down here in the top lane, but I don't think they have enough. But it's a great collapse there onto that Rengar.
Yeah, Miami University seeming to read them like a book, and Jin back in time to stop any kind of significant push in this bot lane. But yeah, Karma in perfect position, making sure to mitigate that dive and counter it and actually get one in return. Gragas incredibly tanky, so he's going to be difficult to take down. Beans kind of trying to go opt for an aggressive flash play with the tether. Not going to find much, unfortunately, but it is huge. This Aatrox will continue to reap the rewards as we see the grubs, which are still around, are going to be taken by Miami University. A huge boon to their side laners, just going to even help the Aatrox even further to make this lead unbearable.
Yeah, if I'm Egoist, I'm feeling pretty good about right now. 700 gold up on my laner. I have Void Grubs in my back pocket. Man, things can't get better than this at this stage of the game.
Yeah, Egoist must have heard me, really opting for the early Merc Treads, knowing the value in this game and more trading towards top side.
Yeah, Egoist can just kind of do whatever he wants here in the top lane. I don't think Gato has enough damage to put pressure onto this Aatrox. Of course, Aatrox just going to heal up with his passive. It's a bad time for Gragas in the top lane.
Yeah, we do see the Catalyst being built on the Gragas, so that sort of a tanky slash AP hybrid build is going to be a little bit more beefy. But the Catalyst, interesting. I think it's a really good item, great in lane. But, you know, if he keeps getting set behind, if he doesn't have a lot of priority in lane, it might delay his ability to purchase the Rod of Ages at a timely manner. Obviously, you want to start the stacking of that as quickly as possible. But, you know, a good choice on Gragas. Very popular. We see that taken quite often. And just kind of a battle for vision towards the bottom side here, making sure that they have Cryo for Dragon Sin Zhao is not going to opt to start it right now. Mantra Q going wide, as well as that
Deadly Flourish.
Deadly Flourish, yes.
I'm a little surprised of how passive this bot lane is playing. I mean, we know that Solozak feels a little bit more comfortable on things like Varus, things like Yunara, a lot of those AD or auto attack heavy champions. I don't know if it's just an uncomfortability thing, but we usually see Solozak and Beans here in the bot lane being a little bit more aggressive, especially what we see in their scrims.
Yeah, and we see, interestingly enough,
a little bit of fighting going here in the top lane, but please continue your point that you had there.
Yeah, so Umbral Glaive going to be picked up by the Rengar, trying to establish more dominance on that vision front that we saw. Maybe a lane gank being set up here as well. We see him in the bush.
Trae going to jump out. They are going to get the knockup onto Solozak. Rakan's going to charm both, but there's not much that Miami University can do here. Xin Zhao trying to find a little bit of help here, but Beans getting bursted down pretty heavily by the auto attacks. Xin Zhao going to jump in. Ash taking some turret fire, but we do see that Akali and Aurora trade there in the mid lane while all of this is going down. And that is going to be a 2-for-1 on the side of CMU.
Yeah, and most certainly the Dragon probably going to follow, unless Rengar opts to go do his Krugs. Yeah, a big play with the lane gank, and the trade in mid lane, obviously, not going to benefit them a whole ton. It's just going to be kind of even the lane. The minions are pushing towards the Akali.
Here comes Egoist popping the World Ender, trying to find something onto Gato. But Gato getting out of it with that dash that Gragas has. Especially hard to do that under tower with all the protection and healing that Gragas is able to do. But we do see the Dragon starting up on the bottom by Beans and X.
Yep, Miami trying to just shake off that lane game and continue to get these objectives. Going to start it with the Void Grubs and now trying to grab the Dragon. They will do so, and that is very important. Stacking the early objectives will just definitely make the game a little bit easier as we go on and on. And yeah, I mean, we got the Hextech Gunblade online. That's going to make the Akali's experience a lot more a lot easier, as well as facilitate some of these really aggressive trades they seem to be going for. Um,
Taking a look at some of the gold here, Rengar surprisingly is the richest man in the game with 4.4 gold here, but Egoist not too far behind with 4.2 is in the driver's seat. It's just putting an impressive lead, 1.1k gold up on his lane opponent.
Yeah, definitely establishing that he is the king of the top lane, at least for now. And yeah, Rengar farming kind of like a demon. He has so many, I mean, he's 18 CS above his counterpart. And really, despite having that great presence on the map, that lane gank is definitely doing well to get his jungle camps. Going to be taking a couple tower shots, some trade there. And back to this bot lane, we still see this poke is so oppressive. Definitely going to be kind of playing around when they can get their jungler, looking for those angles.
Rengar just finding another look onto WGFY. I don't know if this Akali is playing too forward or what, or if they just don't have the vision, but getting caught out once again. But Ego is trying to find something onto Gato, will miss that Q2, and will just back off and go back to farming.
Yeah, so Akali did have flash up for that play, probably just got collapsed on, bursted down, didn't see a lot of sense in flashing. But yeah, playing with that kind of reckless abandon, taking those tower shots may not seem like much at the time, but when a Rengar shows up in your lane, you're really going to be biting yourself for some of those misplays. Egoist kind of just playing as into a neutralizer, but we do see that Xin Zhao is here, just claiming some vision.
Yeah, going back to that fight in the mid lane, on the side, you can see that Aurora did use the flash in the process of getting that kill. So one of those major summoner spells used to getting that kill onto the Akali, who's right back into lane. Meanwhile, Egoist proccing the electrocute, getting some nice damage. But like we keep mentioning, this bot lane, not really much coming from it. It's more of this top and mid game that we see so far in this game. And that's kind of what we mentioned before the game. I mean, Egoist is the driver right now for Miami University. And if they want, to win this game, they're going to have to just accelerate that Aatrox as fast as they can.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gragas seems like a really good pick here just because he's just able to neutralize the lane so well. He can kind of stick around.
And here we go in the mid lane again. WGFY finding the kill onto Pride before going down themselves. Meanwhile, Aurora trying to find something on this Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao going back in, trying to find this kill onto Aurora, but I think they're just going to back off. I mean, Aurora with the red buff is just going to heal up, and Xin Zhao also going to heal up on those sides. So, what can you do right there?
Yeah, I know, just a battle of the heals. But like we said, I mean, Aurora, even without the flash, such a deadly mobile champion, is so hard to pin down, is going to be able to trade back there and avenge her fallen Rengar comrade.
I do want to say, too, Jhin over here on the bot lane, Solo Zach, has opted to build Infinity Edge first. And Egoist with another solo kill on the top lane.
We have more going on there. Looks like there's a little bit of a scuffle over the Herald. Yeah, the Gragas going to be taken down. That's really good because, like we said, he's been kind of slippery towards this lane. Teleport going to be used. And looking like we might have a bit of a scrap with this Herald. A lot of teams prioritize this. It's very important to snowball the lead. Ash Arrow
going to be completely missed, but here comes WGFY on the bottom side. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of team fight. Rengar jumping in. Rakan going to try to find the charm onto everybody, and the between world from the Aurora pops, gets damage onto everyone. But here comes the ultimate from the Xin Zhao. They're going to find one onto Rakan. Rengar forced to back out, but Gato is back. End time finds a huge knockup onto two members of Miami University, and Egoist is trying to do whatever he can to salvage this fight. He's just going to back off. It's a double kill for the Aurora, and the Rengar pounces back in. It's just CC stacking so well from Central Michigan, and that's a triple kill for the Aurora.
Yeah, Miami kind of just looked a little disjointed after that initial engage. Rengar going in, trying to pop the Aurora. The Rakan basically solo finishing the job. But it was weird. After we saw the teleport flank come in from the Gragas, and Miami was all kind of stacked up. You don't necessarily want to be on top of each other into their comp. And as a result, they were able to, Gragas was able to just shift the tides of that fight and totally capitalize. Aurora picking up a triple kill is now 6-1-1. It's going to be massive in this game. A huge injection of gold there. 1.4 ahead of the Akali. And even with Egoist being in the position that he was in, he was only able to do so much in that fight. The brilliant teleport flank from the Gragas being able to come and revitalize the fight for his team. Herald going to be taken by CMU.
Yeah, and we're kind of starting to see these lane quests start coming in. As you can see right next to the KDAs on the player at the bottom of your screen, we do see that top, jungle, mid. I think everyone in the game has completed their lane quest so far. So, you have that empowered TP for the top laners. Junglers get a little bit more XP while they're in the jungle, a little bit more movement speed. But the mid lane is what I'm looking at, especially on this Akali and this Aurora. They have those tier 3 boots. They have the empowered recall. So tempo is the name of the game. But here we go. WGFY going a little bit deep, finding Rakan. But 4 members of CMU are here and just backs off.
Yeah, maybe looking for more of a play. Going to place the Herald down. Egoist trying to play defense, but we'll see a lot of poke coming through with the Ashe. First turret going to be going down an additional 300 gold for that prize. And then we see the Phaelites trying to get vision control of this brush.
There goes Rengar into Xin Zhao. Doesn't really, no follow-up from the side of CMU. Both teams just kind of in a stalemate looking at each other, but a huge ultimate from Gato will get Xin Zhao. Pops the ult to try to force these members away, but the Rakan charm comes out on 2 members, on Beans and to X. Meanwhile, WGFY is here to free fire on everyone. Egoist pops the World Ender, trying to find the Aurora. Aurora is so weak. And we have the Jhin here. Egoist over the wall. The Deadly Flourish missing from Solozak. Solozak flashing over the wall and will pop the Aurora before going down themselves to the Ashe. But Egoist is here, the only man remaining for the side of Miami University. And that's going to be an ace for Central Michigan.
Once again, I'm just seeing the Aurora just kind of dance for these fights, making it out with like 1 HP. And Miami is looking like they're just a little lost. I mean, both teams were a little disjointed. We saw the Rakan go in, not really much follow-up there. The initial snap engage from both teams kind of looking a little all over the place, but CMU able to capitalize. The Aurora being able to get those resets, so as she gets a takedown, she is able to use her W, go invisible again, become untargetable. And we just saw her stringing the rest of Miami, leading them to their eventual demise. The Rengar able to pick up in the squishy front line and ignore, essentially, the Aatrox with the lead that he had accumulated. And it's just kind of a similar tale to what we saw in the Herald. Miami not really in sync with their movements and their positioning, and are going to pay the price for it.
Yeah, things are going from good to bad to worse for the Redhawks on the Rift. You can see from the gold graph on the bottom of your screen, they were kind of building up a lead. They are almost 1K. They were 1K gold up at one point, and now they're down by 2K. This is just not what you want to see if you're a Red Hawk League of Legends fan.
Yeah, I mean, a series of 2 kind of disastrous fights. And I think a big, kind of the name of the game for Miami right now would be target selection. You want to make sure that you're getting a lot of these heavy carries. You want to try and prioritize the Aurora. But right now, their fights have just been kind of all over the place. You haven't been able to make use of the Jhin range, like we mentioned, being able to play from a distance. And they're just getting bursted. Their backline is paying the price in all of these fights. And right now, it's looking a little grim. I mean, they do have avenues, but they're with the Rengar being accelerated. He has a bounty now, 2 items going to be picked up. And we do see something I'd like to mention. The one of the new items that I said I would mention, Vandal Pipe. So on that Rakan there, that yellow-looking kind of backpack thing. It is a really great item, mainly just because of the stats. The stats are amazing. It's 200 health, 15 ability power, 20 armor, or ability haste, sorry, and 20 magic resistance, and the passive is called Fanfare.
Ego is finding something onto Gato, but man, Xin Zhao just getting caught out in the river by 3 members of CMU. Kind of don't like the positioning there, especially with that first tower in the mid lane gone. But Egoist, even kind of behind as a team in this game, Egoist is still doing a lot to try to pull Miami back into this, still showing a lot of dominance over this Gragas in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely trying to be that kind of reliable member, making sure that they still have a fighting chance in a lot of these team fights to come. But like I said, just to finish my point, so the Vandal Pipes is one of the most popular new items. We see it built almost every game on most champions, a lot of the more engagey support champions. And basically, whenever you get bonus movement speed whenever you slow or immobilize an enemy champion, and you and nearby enemies gain bonus attack speed when that happens. So really, just a pretty simple but really effective item that we're seeing be incredibly popular, as well as a new item we see on Jhin as well.
Yeah, we have the Hex Optics C44 onto Jhin.
Yeah, so that is...
WGFY just getting caught out again. this mid laner is just overstepping his bounds, and Rengar is punishing him for it.
Yeah, I think at this point in the game, you want to try and slow things down, try to avoid these little mistakes, because anything you make is going to allow CMU to gain huge amounts of ground on the map that they already have. I mean, you barely have control of anywhere. Even in your own jungle, we're seeing that Xin Zhao is not able to farm. His jungle camps are being taken, being set further and further behind, but maybe a flank here.
Xin Zhao coming up from the bottom of the screen is going to engage onto the Ashe, but there's not a lot of damage follow-up. They're trying to do whatever they can, Miami University is, to get that Ashe down. But the Rengar, just pops Karma. The Aurora comes in and just destroys the Ashe. And the Jhin, that's not where you want to fire the curtain call off. Right in front of the Rakan is not where you want to do it. You'll just get knocked up in return, and that's just what happened. But meanwhile, CMU is just going to chase Egos down, and there's not much that Aatrox can do. That was just really disjointed from Miami University, and a lot of individual mistakes were made in that fight.
Yeah, kind of a weird timing. I like the idea with the engage.
WGFY getting one on the back end onto Rengar, playing in this Shroud, trying to find another one onto Rengar or the Aurora. I'm not sure if Egoist is still around. It looks like he backed, but WGFY getting low and will be going down.
Yeah, trying to, does get the 1,000 gold shutdown very notably on the Rengar, going to allow him some extra gold. Maybe Egoist trying to find some more off the back end. But yeah, speaking of that, so Egoist himself was really late to the party. I mean, not necessarily his health. It seemed like kind of a game time decision there from some of the members of Miami going for that flank play in the mid lane. But really, like you said, they just didn't have the damage dealers there in the area in order to follow up on that Xin Zhao flank. And as a result, they're going to just pretty much all get wiped. Egoist was chased, his tail between his legs, through the enemy jungle and not able to work with his team. And like you said, kind of a disastrous Genhold as well. Basically just in their face, and allows Aurora and Rakan to just collapse on top of him. And yeah, I mean, it just all over the place for Miami. Really, I would ask...
A TP coming in from Egos will just get caught by everybody, and that is not what you want to see. A little bit of copium for you Red Hawk fans out there. These are all of Central Michigan's most picked champions, but that's a double kill for the Rengar, just kind of steamrolling in this game. We saw that, Rengar had the most gold in this game earlier, and, that lead is just propelling Central Michigan.
Yeah, we said feast and famine. He is definitely feasting right now.
Absolutely.
And it's going to make it that much harder for Miami to crawl themselves out of this gold deficit. I mean, look at from aside from the top lane, really, and the AD carry role, there really isn't a ton of bright spots that you're seeing if you're a Miami fan.
Yeah, they're trying to find something here onto the Baron. They will find a kill onto Rengar. If they can clean up the rest of this fight, they might have a good look. WGFY on the Akali going deep, but between worlds from the Aurora is popped, and great spacing from the Ashe will bring down the Xin Zhao. Double bodyguarding that Ashe just so the curtain call won't go through no matter what. And Central Michigan turning their sights onto this Baron. Both junglers are down, but the Rengar will be up before Xin Zhao is back.
Yeah, I think they can take... I mean, they're deciding to back off. Probably smart. Just you don't want to 50-50 the game on while having no smite. Egoist going to get in here, try and clear out some of that vision. But yeah, again, we see kind of an odd TP, really bold given the game circumstances. Just kind of sends Egoist to his death. But maybe Miami is going to try and find something off the Gragas. But the Aurora, look at this Aurora, so strong right now, 11-2. And it just looks like such a menace in these fights. Ashe starting to come online as well, very close to that IE. Gonna enable her to have some additional damage, more agency in these fights.
Yeah, the Zonia on the Aurora too will just make it so much harder for Miami University to just take her down. I mean, you have the lifeline, you have the stasis with the Zonia's Hourglass, letting her go golden and invulnerable to everything just for a little bit of time. And, that can be a difference in the fight.
Yeah, and you mentioned that these are some of the senior champions from CMU on their side. And yeah, that is important to note. Like we said, it is fearless, so they will not have access, nor will Miami, to any of these champions you see on your screen right now for the following 1 or 2 games. We're hoping to, rooting for these Red Hawks to bounce back. But that will come into play. But at the same time, a lot of the issues that I'm seeing are more with communication on when to engage, when to back up, when to follow up in these team fights. And also some of the ability usages have been a little bit questionable. I think Xin Zhao wanting to use his ult more selectively and make sure that he doesn't just get bursted down in these team fights. And I think that Jhin maybe, again, has been struggling to play around his range advantage. And yeah, I think right from this spot, you're just trying to figure out how we can find an angle for them. When are they going to misplay? When can we find an angle to get back into the game? But it is going to be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Jhin into Ashe is one of those really hard mashups. Jhin already being one of those slow, immobile AD carries, which doesn't help with Ashe's passive, where, you know, every auto attack just slows and slows and slows you. So Solozak can't really do much in terms of, you know, running around in these fights. And if he's hit by an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you're going to get blown up by the Gragas Qs, by the Rakan Ws, by this Rengar anything.
Yep.
It's just such a dicey place to be in for the Miami University Redhawks right now. You have to protect the president. You have to let Egoist do his thing, and Beans just has to be coming in huge with these shields.
Yeah, definitely kind of a pick.
Ooh,
speaking
Egoist,
of,
yeah, just getting popped in the top lane. This Rengar is so strong. 9, 4, and 10. And it looks like they might be looking at a Baron angle here.
Yeah, I mean, who's really going to stop them? I mean, they can, as long as they keep the Xin Zhao out of the pit, this is pretty much a free Baron. Gragas going to come here and just try and play area denial. Going to land the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and maybe look for a turn.
Rakan finding something onto the top of your screen here onto the Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao trying to do whatever he can, but Gragas in the backline doing some nice work. Solozak going low, as well as the Rakan, but I don't think there's anything that Solozak can do to get out of this. It is a 4-for-1 for CMU. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, WGFY is just trying to do whatever he can to push in this bottom lane as CMU takes the top.
Yeah, CMU might just have the game here. They're going to try and push. These turrets are absolutely getting shredded. We're seeing the resistances have gone down. And it may not... I mean, I'm looking at some of the respawn timers. They might have an angle, maybe at the very least get an inhibitor turret or two. We'll see. Yeah, they're going to pick up these inhibs, and they might look to push for more, but I think...
Ego is finding something big onto the CMU team. That is 2 Barons going to be down because of the Akali R combination. There's the stasis pop from the Aurora, but they're just waiting around. A perfectly timed Q from Egoist will take down the Aurora, and that is a huge gold injection late into this game for Egoist. I don't know if it's too little too late, but I mean, any gold is good gold for the side of Miami University.
True, we'll take it. I mean, maybe CMU bidding off a little bit more than they can chew there. Going to try and rotate down, and maybe Miami can get this. Drake in return. Respawn timer still going to be ticking for the Rengar as well as that Aurora. And yeah, huge injection of gold with Egoist in the top lane. Definitely going to be celebrating that. But again, the odds are still stacked against them. Is going to allow them to slow down the game a little bit. They did only lose their 1 mid inhibitor, and if you're going to lose an inhibitor, you definitely want it to be the mid one. And then Jhin is going to have to kind of clear out these super minions, and maybe he can use that more to get some additional gold. Gragas going to be snooping around here, but then again, any misplay from Miami, and that is going to be the curtain call, you could say.
Yeah, Miami University role-playing the Department of Homeland Security, just protecting the base as much as they can. It's just really, you're in a really tough position as a Red Hawk right here. I mean, Egoist is the only one who has a lead on their laner. This Jhin just feels so far behind. Speaking of, Egoist getting caught up by 2 members of Central Mission and just gets deleted. This Rengar is going absolutely crazy. And this is just not what you want to see from the Miami University Redhawks.
Yeah, Enchanted Crystal are going to go up, see if they can find someone. Explosive Cast hitting as well. And Ego is going down, certainly might spell the end for Miami. They're going to just try their best to hold these inhibitor towers, but it's looking like they're just going to leverage these Baron-empowered minions. These cannons are just hammering away at the plates. And Aurora taking a huge chunk from the Karma there, and it is looking more dire and dire by the second for our Redhawks. And these turrets are just going down. They're smartly zoning the Rengar away, so they decrease the resistances on this tower. Beans is going to return, tossing out those Mantra Qs. Baron is going to expire, so maybe Miami can hold out after all.
Deadly Flourish onto the Gragas. More members of Miami University are going to try to follow up. Beans does get the tether and the root onto Gatto, and here comes more. Gatto, I think, will be going down here. X looking for more, but the Ashe just too fast with the Rakan gets out of there. But we do see super minions from the mid lane just spilling into this base, while both the top and the bottom towers are low or destroyed, and the inhibitors are exposed, I think.
Yeah, so inhibitors still there. Only the mid having been taken down at this point. But again, that still means that any kind of misplay, any kind of pick that we saw there, like Egoist dying, fortunately didn't mean that Miami, they were still able to hold out, still able to repel those Barret-empowered minions. But if that happens again, I mean, it's just going to get harder and harder for them to stand their ground. So we'll see. Oh.
Ego is trying to find something onto Pride, but man, this Rengar is so strong. Taking a look at the gold graph, the Rengar still the richest man in the game. 16.1k total gold, the most out of anyone. 2k up of Dark, 2k up of Gray Swag, 2k up of Solo Zach, 4k up of that Xin Zhao from Miami University. That is a rich tiger.
Yeah, and I felt like I just spoke it into existence. Egoist, the pick there, not really going to mean a whole lot, but it's just preventing him from getting the XP, getting the gold. Like we said, top laners have an extended XP cap, so they can benefit a lot from these extra minions. And him falling there is just going to allow CMU to regroup, going to look more for the mid lane, trying to get that inhibitor. Or I think they do still have that. The inhibitor does respawn. Can't see if it has respawned. I think, no, it's still.
I think it's still down, yeah.
Still broken. They haven't been able to get the ones on the top or the bot side of the map. They're just going to run towards this dragon. Not a ton of drag sacking. I think Miami did a pretty good job of trying to mitigate that early. So at the very least, they don't have to worry for the immediate future about a soul on the horizon. But Baron will come back soon. We have 44 seconds. And that, if that is taken by CMU, will be disastrous. That'll allow them to just slowly push and bleed Miami like we saw before.
Yeah, taking a look at the damage here, we see that Rengar 34.4k damage into this game, almost 10k up anybody on Miami University. I mean, Pride is just controlling this entire game. He's a one-man show, and there he goes, jumping onto the members of Miami University, excuse me, but they don't get bursted down. However, Miami CC can't follow up too much there. X going to take a lot of damage, but there goes WGFY over the wall. Will pop the stasis. The members of Miami University doing whatever they can to help save him. But the Between Worlds will just do so much damage onto the members of Miami University. This Jhin can't really do much. And that is going to seal the game, I think, for Miami University. It is a quadra for the Rengar, and it is an ace for Central Michigan.
Quadra on the four-man himself. We hate to see that, but we see the immediate snap engage, not really amounting to much, but then the re-engage by CMU, and they just slap them in their face with the wallets. They are so incredibly far ahead. The Rengar just smashing the fight, breaking it wide open. And yeah, Xin Zhao getting bursted to almost 1 HP immediately by just the Ash Volley. And it was just a matter of time. Miami trying valiantly to hold on, but they will lose. Game 1, CMU picking it up and starting this series off hot.
Man, that is just not what you want to see if you're a Miami University Red Hawk fan. Just a tough start. I mean, the beginning of the game looked fine. Egoist was putting some pressure in the top lane, but we kind of mentioned it was a really passive bot lane. That's not something that you usually see. I mean, last year you saw Lord Bonk Bonk just going and doing these crazy things on Hui.
On a Hui, no less, on a mage. So we don't want to reminisce too much on the past. Those, we will remember them fondly. Lord Bonk Bonk, his name as well. But, you make a good point, which is I think we saw more of, it wasn't necessarily a comp, maybe it had something to do with their comp. I think they struggled a bit to find their footing in a lot of these fights, but really just making sure they're on the same page in a lot of these team fights is going to be crucial. Making sure they're not getting picked in silly places before crucial fights or timings on the map. It just seemed like CMU, while they also had their own struggles, it didn't seem like a super clean showing from either sides. Definitely could kind of rally a little bit more and turn these fights to their favor. But I want to see how Miami can kind of use that and pivot and make sure that they're communicating. They are knowing to sync their engages, and also just making sure to not give opportunities, because we saw Miami had established a pretty sizable gold lead at the very beginning. Their laning phases were going well, respectively. Each we saw no one really falling behind too far, but Rengar was slowly able to creep, make plays around the map. We saw that lane gank and then towards bot side, as well as the multiple plays mid lane. to kind of capitalize on Miami University's recklessness, their willingness to use their summoners and then get punished as a result. And then we just saw those two disastrous fights kind of break the game open. We saw that at Herald, at Dragon. Miami needs to try and slow the game down, see if they can leverage their advantage that they might get in the top side again. They definitely had an opportunity with Egoist on the Aatrox, but he wasn't put in a position to be impactful in these fights. Really, whenever something big happened, it always felt like he was there a little bit too late, or if his team went in without him. We need to make sure that they are on the same page, and I feel like they can do a lot better in game 2.
Yeah, I want to talk about that Akali pick too. I mean, I've seen WGFY play this Akali a lot, but just getting really aggressive really early into the game, burning those flashes. And when you have a Rengar just lurking in the jungle, that's not something you really want to be doing, because with the leap, Rengar can jump into that mid lane a lot quicker than some other junglers can. So getting caught out twice in the early game, I think really set WGFY behind, letting Aurora just kind of build this massive lead while Rengar was also accruing gold. It was just really unfortunate all around, and maybe hopefully next game they pick something a little bit safer for that mid lane.
Yeah.
But with the knowledge of, Rengar, Aurora, all those picks being gone for the rest of the series, what do you want to see differently from Miami University to hopefully win this next game?
I think maybe draft something a bit more cohesive. I think to maybe something easy. I'd say like something that your mission is very clear, very one-dimensional. Like this is a team fight comp. This is a poke comp. Something that it is very clear how you can operate and you can work, and it's maybe less. Not to say I want to see their communication improve, but I also it does make it easier when it is pretty obvious what your defined role is in the video game. So I think it is very important that they do that, or at least find something they can feel more comfortable on. I think reduce the mistakes. That's the biggest thing. We're seeing a lot of meaningless deaths, a lot of getting picked, a lot of using important summoners for essentially no reason, like flashing on people that were never in a position to actually get taken down. And taking tower shots in lane, overextending. These little things, you can clean them up and you'll start to see really big results, making sure that they aren't able to accrue a lead for things that really just don't need to be happening. So yeah, I hope Miami is able to clean that up, take a close look at that game and improve on some of their misplays. But I'm optimistic, I think. And obviously, like you mentioned, these players, a lot of them haven't really played together extensively. There's gonna be a bit of a a growing phase where they are going to have to acclimatize to some of their teammates' mannerisms and learn how to play cohesively. What we had last semester didn't happen overnight. These players learn how to play around each other's play styles, how to bring out the best in each other. So hopefully we can see that start to happen. And we got plenty of season left. So still really optimistic about what these guys are bringing to the table.
Yeah, this is just the first game. They're still shaking off the rust, but CMU goes up 1-0 to start this series off. While the players gear up for game 2, we're going to head for a quick break, so don't go anywhere. Game 2 will be brought to you very quickly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back as we get ready for game 2 between Miami University and Central Michigan. Game 1, of course, going to Central Michigan. So Miami has opted for blue side this game before draft.
Let's see. Maybe they have a priority pick in mind that they can leverage, something that really might break open the draft. I'm hoping to see a change more specifically towards the mid lane. Maybe something more like control mage or something
mage
like
would be
that.
very nice.
Yeah, something a bit, more of a game manager in these fights.
A
Something
pace dictator.
yeah, exactly. Something like that. Or just generally kind of a scheme that might slow things down a little bit. Maybe we kind of went pedal to the metal a little bit in the draft. I like the energy, but sometimes, especially when teams are getting to know each other, something a bit more fundamental could benefit them. As well, I think from CMU side, there obviously was a little bit of misplays, but generally overall, seemed like they were doing what they needed to do to win the games. They played well with their lead. They established pretty good control of the enemy jungle and the map overall. I think both teams could benefit a little bit more from objective prio and just making sure that they are able to leverage the stacking of these drakes. Or I think the Baron usage was okay, but I think it's really going to just depend on who gets agency in the jungle. We did see Miami University's jungler falling behind in CS pretty early on, so maybe trying to fix up that part of the game, but also trying to be impactful on the map as well. I like your idea of playing through tops. I think Egoist doing really well, but kind of getting snubbed a little bit just because of the Gragas pick and the nature of it. Like Gragas can be down 1.9k gold and still have value
useful,
in the game.
yeah.
Yeah. While Aatrox not really able to pull his team out of that deficit they were in.
Yeah, and we kind of mentioned this earlier, but Gragas and Rengar are two picks that those two players love playing. And with the Fearless format, they are no longer on the table going into this next game. I mean,
Mhm.
we looked at Pride's profile. We know that Rengar is one of their most played champions. Of course, now we have player cams, so you can see our players here on the bottom as they prepare for draft. But uh, I'm interested to see what happens in this game. I mean, even though we saw Solo Zach on a champion that we don't really see him play, so I'm hoping that we see, the Yunara or the
Yeah.
Ashe or another auto attacking champion like that we're so used to seeing him play.
Yeah, I want to see him have more agency in these fights. I feel like Jin is maybe a bit of an overkill in terms of playing back. Like
Yeah.
I think that he definitely, from what I saw from him last season, definitely more of an aggressive type. I think if you want to opt for something that's more ranged, I can't recall if it was banned or not, but I think the Varus definitely fits maybe
I
a
don't
bit
think
more.
it was banned.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that maybe leveraged. I think that is an incredibly powerful pick. We're seeing it a lot in pro play. Very early prioritization, great team fight control with the ultimate. Maybe would have helped with kind of the Aurora and the Rengar dashing all over the place. It would have given a lot more control and agency for Miami. So maybe looking towards something like that. More of an aggressive pick because they were doing well. They were stomping. The Ashe wasn't necessarily a super big factor in that game till later, until she was able to accrue a lead just by having so much more agency from her team throughout the map. So leveraging your existing strengths, your your ability to do well in laning phase, and also just trying to get things cleaned up in the jungle is definitely going to benefit them quite a bit. So I'm keen to see though with CMU those. I feel like those were a bit. I like their draft. I thought it was creative. I thought that they, for the most part, were able to pilot it pretty effectively. So we'll see how they can respond and see if they can predict um, Miami University's adaptations that they will try to throw at them.
Yeah, and we just got word that the game's taking a little bit longer to get into, draft's taking a little bit longer to get into. So they're asking us if we want to do the Wordle.
So admittedly, I have already done the Wordle today.
Then I will cook on it. Prod team, could we please pull up the Wordle for today? Let me hit you off with my favorite word.
Yeah.
Root. Route. ROUT.
Okay, I was gonna say if you did.
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, that's
First of all, this is what I do on my daily. I do ROUTE, and then I do CHAIN. Chain. Knocks out all the vowels except for Y.
Okay, so we're just gonna ignore that there's an O and an E. Cool.
We're
glad we did that.
Yeah, we're picking things around. So
I got it in 3, by the way.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me cook. C. We're gonna do okay. Prod, as I say these letters, could you please type them in for me? C. L.
Okay.
E.
What is he doing?
Clayar. Klepa. No, Klepa's not a word. Hold on.
You have an O.
I know. I'm thinking of where the O goes. Because it's not going to be like CLO blank E. Like, it can't be close. And the C's in the first spot. Is there a word that... What the heck, Prod? What are we doing, man? They're trolling me.
He just...
Okay, maybe not an E. CLO. Is there a CLOE?
I'm not going to say anything because I did it.
Oh my gosh. If I had another person's brain here with me, that would be so easy.
Why don't we have production chime in on this? You won't be able to.
Yeah, Prod, do you have a guess up there? Just type it in. See if you guys have anything up there. C. It's got to be CL. It has to be CL or like CE.
Okay, so Prod is not helpful.
Prod's telling me that they don't have anything. They are so unuseful. Unhelpful rather.
Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
We see that the C is.
What is
C.
Prod thinking? What is Prod?
Prod.
Prod.
Prod, you're going off the rails here. Okay.
Man?
I'm gonna give you a hint.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a hint. I think you were on the right track. I think that you
with the CL.
I think that letter will benefit you.
L.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything other than that.
Cello. Give me cello. CHELLO.
No, it's not. Okay, our production is trying to throw us off. Why don't we just run cello?
Yeah. Wait, is it CELO?
Wait,
CELLO. No, that's 5. Prod's trolling me. Wait, I don't know how to count.
Oh my god. The things that at home you guys can't hear what I'm hearing, but it's giving me distrust in our education system here.
We are, of course, at one of the finest institutions
and there it is.
in America.
And
Okay, Prod. They're talking smack at me, and I'm not an English major. I'm a business guy. Spelling's not what I have to
but he
do.
sniped that. You got it.
Yeah, thanks for the hint. I
Yeah, it was
appreciate
a
it.
pretty big hint, admittedly, because I mean, you don't the repeats they can throw you off.
I wish there were more like games like Laldl that we could play.
There is, but I can't think of any right
Oh.
now. You know the game that I want to play, a third game. You know, I'd love to see Miami use that loss as fuel to the
Good
fire.
segue.
Yeah, and I would like to see them turn that into more motivation to play their little hearts out and get us to a third game. Some interesting, fearless picks. All these champions off the board, and hopefully we're approaching draft pretty soon. I'm excited to see, like we said, hopefully they can take some notes off of the schwacking that we saw. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I think Miami CMU definitely gave them avenues to come back. There was
Right.
flashes from both teams, but Miami not able to get their foot back in the door.
I think after a little bit time away from the game, being able to clear their heads and just talk through a little bit strategy more, I think that'll really benefit this Miami team. However, I do have another game for us to play if we're still feeling the mood. Prod, could you queue up Bracket City?
What is that?
From the Atlantic?
The Atlantic.
Yes, the
sponsored
newspaper, not sponsored.
And in the meantime, you kind of had me. I you're right. They need to be mindful in between games and like take some time. And I've been practicing this form of meditation recently.
Oh,
It's-
yeah?
yeah, but it's actually just writing haikus.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so I get bored in class and I'll kind of break out the notepad or whatever.
I didn't know you were a
And
haiku guy.
yeah, neither did I. But there's certain things that'll be oh, hold on.
Oh, looks
never
like we're
mind.
getting into draft. We'll have to wait for those haikus.
Oh,
I almost said haiku like the volleyball
I was
anime.
about to bring up my artistic side, and then fate said no.
You'll have to pull them out in game for us. But we do see the Brom going off the board first from Miami University. The Leona in response. That's pretty much guaranteed if you're facing Beans.
Beans definitely in Leona enjoyer. A lot of these engage / bruisery supports are definitely very popular. Can leverage the Bandle pipes. Super great item. Hecarim, another champion, going to be erased. I really don't like Hecarim. I hate playing against him. It just he approaches you at about Mach 10.
I'm the same way. And every time I see somebody play Hecarim, they play crazy. They do so much. And then I'm like, I can do that. And then I play Hecarim and I don't do anything.
And then your W is like a little puddle.
Yeah. And I'm like, the game has it out for me. But Caitlyn, Gwen, and Echo, maybe Echo, are going to be the final bans here. Gwen, of course, just so strong with that new Dusk and Dawn item.
Same with Echo. Echo
really?
also,
I haven't seen much Echo.
Echo very much is an on hit, definitely first item. Oh, hold on. Okay, so we do see the pre-draft here coming through.
Whoa.
Ornn. Whoa, hold on. That's not what I expected.
Mordekaiser and Galio picked up for Miami University. The Nami, I kind of expected that. But the Ornn and Talia picked up for Central Michigan with the Anivia. Is this going to be a jungle Talia?
A jungle Talia, I'd imagine.
Do you still play Talia in the jungle these days?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's not as popular, but it definitely Talia itself herself is just a strong champion.
And Bessa band from Central Michigan, as we see 2 tanks already locked in for Miami. Jack's band going out.
I have to imagine that the Varus is going to be locked with the Nami.
It has
or Lucian too, but
or a Yunara.
A
Lucian. Oh, I would like to see
Lucian. Another very
favorite
strong,
champions. Yeah,
another strong champion. Olaf going to be banned.
That is an Olaf. Sorry, I was looking at the Pantheon.
They're going to pick the Yunara, and then the Jinx in return. I like this. I think it's a bit more traditional from Miami. The Mordekaiser does stand out a little bit to me, but I really like the matchup into the Ornn. It kind of can prevent Ornn from just being that meatball that's just going to help his team scale no matter what. You can bully him a bit more in lane. He won't be able to just skirt around because of that Mordekaiser R. It allows you to really put some more damage on him and make sure that you're actually securing these kills.
Yeah, and I like this draft from Miami a lot more. You have that, safer kind of mid laner with the Galio who can be a global presence in this, and you can kind of stack the CCs with the Nami ultimate as well, just making people stay in the air forever. Egoist with the Mordekaiser R can just take the Yunara or somebody else just ride out of the fight. If Ornn R's, you could take Ornn out of the fight so they don't get that knockup. But the Renata Glass, kind of a scary champion to see when your team has both Jinx and Viego.
Yeah, the team fight's going to be nasty again for the the side of Central Michigan. They're really drafting around these 5v5s. We got the Orin Horn, Talia Shove can come through. The Anivia with that just a constant frost storm above the fight. If the Inara can hit, I mean, they give her any kind of agency, she can shred through this team. Miami, the Galio definitely going to help match some of the roaming potential of the Talia with her wall, trying to go for some snap ganks. And the Galio can be there with that hero's entrance to help out. Again, like I said, I like the Mordekaiser. I think it's a great pick into this Galio, kind of prevent him from being that stable neutralizing lane that we saw last time, and really snowball the lead if he's able to accumulate it. Kind of a mirror matchup a little bit here on the bot side. I think both scale
Yeah.
well into the late game. Both can be a win condition for their respective teams if given an opportunity. And it's really going to be a little bit of a protective precedent depending on who accumulates the lead here, because both these carries can be well carrying their teams in these team fights. So yeah, definitely going to be mindful. And the Orin can help in the team fights to kind of use the horn selectively on the Jinx, try and find an angle to pin her down, as well as the Mordekaiser kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good thing to mention as well, to make sure that if there is kind of a situation where we got last game where, let's say, either the Rengar or the Aurora was the problem in these team fights, kind of removing that from the equation is going to be something that is very beneficial.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned this, but I think the bot lane is going to be the lane to watch in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to depend. I feel like this game is going to be determined by which AD carry can get ahead faster, who's going to be doing the most damage. But I think this is also going to be a prime lane for both junglers to look. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both they're not very CC heavy junglers. I mean, of course, Viego has a stun and Talia has the shove, but they want to do damage. They want to be members in this fight that are just taking down the enemy team. And if, bot lane has double the champions, double the opportunity for kills. So if
Mm-hmm.
either the Jinx or the Viego or the Yanar and the Talia can get ahead in this game, that's just going to accelerate the team even more.
Mm-hmm.
The top lane, you're going into an Ornn. You're going to have a little bit of advantage just because of Ornn's a little bit tanky, doesn't really have that fighting pressure like other champions at the top lane, like Aatrox. So I feel like the Mordekaiser is just going to be able to farm up a little bit.
Once
But
it gets that level 6, though, maybe he can look
yeah,
for
the
some
level
kill threat.
6 is kind of
But
scary.
Orin is deceptively, he can be an assassin, man. He can
Yeah.
do some crazy damage. So I mean, I'm an Orin player for sure. I've definitely transitioned more to the weak side, the weak side play style. I'm a big fan, but I will say, I'm wondering if the Jinx might opt for the cleanse this game. I think there's a lot to be cleansed on the side of
I feel like
Central
that's a great
Michigan.
point. Yeah.
The Nivea Q, the shove, the Renata. There's so many like landmines that if
Yeah.
they land one of those in a team fight, it could spell the end for this Jinx and her ability to contribute in a meaningful way. So yeah, we'll see. There's just so many different avenues that CMU can take, but Miami, if they're able to kind of duck, dodge, and dive through all of those skill shots, they can really make a big impact. So hopefully we'll be hopping in games soon.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested too. We haven't really seen WGFY play a champion like Galio.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen of him,
Yeah,
he's always playing these assassin characters, the
yeah.
Akalis of the world. So I think this is going to be a little bit different for him to play, a little bit of a change of pace in the mid lane, which I think is kind of what we mentioned, where we want a pace changer, something that can dictate the flow of the game. WGFY, of course, going to be putting some pressure in the mid lane, but more so playing for that 6 to give some help to the Jinx in the bot lane or the Mordekaiser in the top lane. This is a very, very much a team oriented pick from
Mm-hmm.
WGFY.
I like it, and we may find that this suits their style more as a team. I really like it into their comp specifically. I think they're leaning very heavily
Mm-hmm.
towards the magic damage. They obviously have um, a lot of that with their laners. And Yunara herself, obviously an AD carry, but does a percentage of magic damage. Not that that's a huge difference
Right.
maker, but definitely is relevant to note. So if the Galio can accumulate a bunch of resistances, he definitely is going to be kind of a pain to deal with. So we'll see if they can leverage that, maybe have some more security with how they play these team fights, and if they can navigate all of those threats that we mentioned in order to pilot their ADC. Because I get like you said it perfectly. I think the ADCs are going to be the determining factor and who comes on top here.
Yeah, I mean, both these AD carries too are just super squishy, and Jinx is kind of immobile until getting that kill. But here we are back on the Rift for Game 2 between Miami University and CMU, who leads 1-0 in this series.
We got the Olympics Anivia, the French Anivia, going to be flapping there. Grace Wag staring down the Viego. And the Talia skin.
Shout out the Olympics, man. I've been loving watching it so far. Italy versus USA twice in curling today. Absolutely banging match.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to watch the Olympics.
Speak your mind.
My friend has, or my roommate has YouTube TV. I'm like, all right. So it's on NBC.
Right.
I can see it. But then curling was only on Peacock. So why can't I wanted to watch curling because I like that one. I think it's funny that they're sweeping. And I couldn't. It was not available for me to see that.
Oh,
maybe it was because
the
it was
highlight later. Please.
I think it was the preliminaries or something, and that was maybe why. Oh, we see the Q landed already. So.
And this is kind of this is highlighting the range versus melee matchup that you can get in this game. Gracewag being able to auto WGFY without taking any punishment in return. That's just the inherent advantage that ranged champions have against melees.
Yeah, with the Electrocute 2 going to be especially annoying with that extra adaptive damage. We see, again, kind of can be pretty slow. Maybe towards the beginning, we're going to wait to see if the junglers can move their way. Obviously, we said bot side, big win condition. Getting a lead on any of these carries early on will be super impactful. We also see the Exalted skin on the Jinx, and looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Miami University hitting level 2 first here in the bot lane, but not really being able to make anything out of it. We'll try to pull up the runes here in just a second, see what people are running. We did see Nivea with the Electrocute. Talia opting for the first strike and Phase Rush on the Galio.
Yep, so pretty standard here. Phase Rush did receive a bit of a nerf, I believe. It was pretty much the go-to rune for most mid laners, most mages. Really gave them a lot of agency in lane. And yeah, the Electrocute once again going to be taking a lot more trading power, especially like you mentioned with the ranged into melee matchup, just getting through a lot of those resistances. And Yunara, new champion released, obviously very strong. Works kind of like a Sivir, but even better. You don't have to wait as long for that skin to come online. We see Talia making her way up towards this top side, though.
And this is kind of what we saw in game 1. Egoist just putting pressure up in the top lane. I think Egoist does have some vision, will spot Pride out onto that ward. And so that Talia is just going to pivot to the scuttle and probably is going to look mid lane here. But this is what we mentioned. X looking for something possibly here in the bot lane. But will instead opt for the grub. Yeah, spotted on that ward in the brush.
You can see the red on the Fey lights. I believe that was placed by Miami University. But that's kind of the range that you get.
Ooh, Gracewag getting really low here, as well as WGFY. But Viego is here to back up some support. Spotted out as his invisibility expires. Talia for backup, but I don't think much will happen here unless they go crazy all of a sudden. Looking for a stun, will miss it. Talia shoves him out of the way instead of back into the team, looking for a taunt. Does not find it on either member. Both members of Miami University just have to run out of there. And nothing expended except for the flash from the Galio.
Very lucky for Miami University's jungler. The seismic shove did not actually push him towards the Talia. That could have been very dangerous because when you take that fight, Anivia has the egg. She is fine dying if it means trading one of the lives of Miami University's players. And yeah, you got to be careful with how aggressive you're posturing. I could see the angle with the low health bar, but you got to keep in mind that passive.
Talia backing in that tri-brush after the Gromp might be spotted out here by X, is going to force to flash away.
And the back canceled.
Yeah, Egoist coming down to do what he can. Will flash aggressively for the E. We'll find it the Q on the solo, but we're going to continue this fight. Pride getting really low. Going to donate the kill over to X, who will get that reset. I don't think they can look for much more on the Ornn, but that's what we want to see for the side of Miami University, especially for that kill going over to Viego.
Yeah, CMU's jungler getting kind of caught with his pants down in that time bush over there. And yeah, that's going to be huge. Immediately getting Viego kind of back in business, going to take the invade, get the Raptors here. And that is a huge start. You definitely want to see that, especially with how he struggled a little bit with the competing with the jungler last game.
It was kind of a bold move for Pride to recall in that bush, especially with Egoist seeing Pride in the river, you know, not seeing it pop mid lane or on the ward on Raptors. So, you know, there's only one place where that Talia could be, and it was great on X to spot that and grab that kill for the side of Miami.
And good agency by Egoist to cancel his back, making sure to invest the flash to make sure that they're locking down that kill, and good confidence by him, and luckily it worked out. So that is going to be huge.
WGFY getting low here. Great wall from the Anivia, but is just kind of baiting him for Viego to get into here. WGFY getting really low. Will find the kill, Anivia will, but there goes the egg. All X has to do is auto this Anivia down, and it should be 2-0 for the Viego. With the stun, Gray with the wall, flashes over, but gets the stun. Meanwhile, on the bot side, we have a fight. Pride finding a way into this bot lane. Beans forced to flash. Dart getting really low. Yunara not doing a lot of damage, but Pride will pick up the kill. Silzak trying to find what he can. Will flash. The shield for Intoner Zero, will just prolong the life. Silzak not able to just fire onto Dark, playing really well in these bushes, is looking for a kill. Will W, won't find it. Pride low on mana, can't really do anything. X dashing in, gets in the stun, but both members really low. I don't think Jinx has the ultimate to fire just yet, but a great fight in the bot lane for the side of Miami.
Yeah, Solozak getting a kill out of that, going to be massive on the Jinx. Using that unstoppable very well is the Ornn to make sure he doesn't get caught in any really bad trades. And granted, a pretty good exchange. Flash going to be used on Jinx. A lot of summoners burned from both laners. No summoners for either bot lane duo. And but yeah, overall a good play. Turning that gank into something more positive. The match by the Viego. And yeah, overall, it is definitely what you want to see. You have this kill on Jinx. You're able to accelerate it. She has the BF sword now, getting close to the Yunto wild arrows. You'd have to imagine. And you want to see that kind of early scaling. Made any faster is going to be a huge benefit.
X getting really deep here in the jungle. A point blank ultimate coming out from the Gallia will dissuade them from going any further. Beans is here to back up some support. They do get the bubble onto Intoner Zero, but I think the members of Miami just want to back up here. Here goes the Weaver's Wall from the Talia. WGFY getting the taunt onto it, not letting her dash way farther. X lurking around the wall. I think both teams are just going to back up. But
kind of a clown fiesta there.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff used, a lot of ultimates, a lot of things, but no kills going to be found for either side. And yeah, we get a little bit more of that. It's a little reminiscent of last game. A lot of stuff happening. It doesn't seem like there was a ton of communication there.
Yeah, and going back to that bot fight, I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate that Solozak wasn't able to get the second kill because of that shield from Intoner Zero.
Got excited.
Yeah, but we do see that Solozak is building this huge lead, 25 CS, 8 minutes into this game, 800 gold up on their lane opponent. So this is feeling good if you're Jinx, but we kind of saw this last game from Miami. They built up this lead on Egoist, and then they just threw it away.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people, especially people playing solo queue right now, think Nami is like the strongest champion on the patch. It's a super common ban for a lot of players regardless of position. She just offers so much for your team, and it's so easy to facilitate around these team fights, just so much value. And we see Pride getting these grubs here, early rotation. Anivia here to join, make sure that everything goes well. Viego in the area, not sure if he's going to contest, looking like he's just going to recall. And the another invade coming in through from Talia, going to be spotted, canceled the recall, is Viego.
I don't think Talia saw the Viego. X is going to spot out Pride here, and I think Egoist will be able to get there faster. The Weavers, or not the Weaver's Wall, but the shove away. X going to aggressively smite to slow down. All of the members here from CMU are collapsing, as well as Miami, but X will pick up the kill onto that Talia. So lucky that Viego wasn't spotted out on that Scryer's Bloom.
Yeah, another ego play from Pride, heading into the jungle, not knowing that Viego was lurking once again in the bushes, and once again able to leverage the stronger top side. Mordekaiser coming down. We did see the Ornhorn trying to be used to kind of delay it and hopefully enable the Talia to get out, but she, like we saw, used her ultimate earlier. No Weaver's Wall, and some tower plates taken on the bot side, but overall still favoring the Jinx.
Yeah, it's still a bit of a calm game. There haven't been any massive team fights minus that one fiasco we saw in the river a little bit ago. But it's just so hard to make a play happen on this Anivia because of that egg passive where you just, come back to life. But yeah. I think for this matchup in the mid lane, I still think that WGFY is building a little bit more value because, you know, you have that semi-global ult. But here we go, Weaver's Wall onto the bot lane of the members, and there is that ultimate from Galio, just dissuading them from fighting. Solozak doing whatever he can to fire. The lethal tempo fully stacked, Pride getting really low. But meanwhile, on the top side, Dark is going to go down from X. X getting that reset. We have WGFY knocking up the Anivia. Pride still low on the other side of the wall. Solozak whiffing the ult, but I think that's going to be the end of the fight while Miami looks for this dragon. Egoist there to dissuade anyone from getting any further, but that's the front to back that we want to see from Miami and what we want to see the Galio doing, protecting the president.
Yeah, Yunara a little bit too aggressive with her positioning in that fight, going to be caught against the wall and able to kind of bail out. We saw the bailout come through, but didn't actually get the revive off. And then it effectively bailed out. Viego was able to take possession and then flash out from the overextension where he was a little bit forward.
Egoist, I think, overextending here a little bit, will pop the ultimate onto Ornn. I think that's more of a safety play just so Anivia can't really do anything. Buy some time for WGFY, who gets stopped by the wall. Pride is here, doesn't have that Weaver's Wall to get over there and to help. Egoist getting out alive, still trying to put a little bit of pressure even while playing off of the back foot.
Yeah, got to be careful there. Make sure that after the ultimate is expended, make sure not to over chase. Egoist is going to do just that, walk towards back to top side. And Viego still lurking here in the bot side. Overall, like you mentioned, yeah, 1.2k gold lead on this Jinx, has the Yuntal online. Cole still going to be stacking away from the Inara, but definitely behind a little bit in the CS. Hopefully he can push the envelope a little bit more, bully them more in this laning phase. World Quest still not done. Still working away at some of those for most lanes. It looks like Solozak does have his done, actually.
Yeah, we have a couple of items coming in here too. Jinx and Viego, really rich, both have their first items in the Yuntal arrows
Bubble
and
land,
the Kraken Slayer as well. Bubble and ult going to be used on the bottom laners of Central Michigan, but the ult from the Renata Glass is just going to stop every effort that Miami just put in.
Yeah, Hostile Take are going to be spreading them like the Red Sea, and they will not be able to follow up on that. But good attempt and getting good ultimates out of the CMU bot lane. Both ultimates going to be used, and there could potentially be a dive angle, but Galio roaming down, but it looks like that wave is going to be pretty thinned out.
Ego is just establishing the rule of law here in the top lane. It just has so much control over this lane. Able to put some pressure. Does have the Rylai's Crystal Arrow too, which makes Ornn so strong. If you get caught up in his passive of that 3-hit, man, you are just going to be taking a lot more damage than you want to. We do see Pride looking maybe to invade the jungle again, but, you know, already tried it 2 times.
Yeah,
hasn't really gone too well.
Really been the best course of action for him in the past. More scuffles towards the top side. I think Ornn, did I hear just one horn? Nope, he still got it. But it's got him pinned under his tower. That has the Krakenic Rukern now, so it will keep him a little bit healthier in these extended trades. Going to be a lot tougher to kill. Talia.
Pride in the top lane, trying to find something on Egoist. Egoist aggressively flashing and will ult onto Pride, and there's that passive. The Rylai slowing Pride so they can't get away. Egoist just establishing the rule of law. Will do so much damage. X here to back up. Will look for the stun, but Gato with a great unstoppable gets out of there. Doesn't take any of that CC. The Heartbreaker missing. Egoist trying to take the turret, but X is just so strong and deals so much damage. Maybe gets out of there, but the Ornn from CMU gets the shutdown with the help of the tower.
The possession, I've done that too. You think that you I don't know why, but no matter how much Viego I play, I always feel like I go untargetable and that I wouldn't get tagged.
I feel like you should.
Yeah, you should. Maybe. I would be really annoying.
Yeah.
But he goes into possession, takes those tower shots while he's transforming, and that eventually will lead to his downfall from the ramped up tower. But that does mean that Solozak gets that first tower gold solo, and that's going to be a huge benefit to him. Up 1.1k, still up CS. And oh, hold on, Anivia with the counterplay along with the Talia. I think she used the Weaver Wall to return back to that top side, and Anivia meets her there, and they take down the Mordekaiser. So is celebrating after getting that first tower, but is going to be smacking them out.
Talia still has the Weaver's Wall up, so I think Egoist just overstayed a little bit, got collapsed upon. But you know what? It happens. You take first tower, you think you're the most invincible man in the world. Taking a look at the gold, X, Solozak, and Egoist are still the strongest here. But there goes the Weaver's Wall into the fight. Gato trying to find something onto Bean. The hostile takeover going to find the Jinx, and the Jinx will take down the Nami. Meanwhile, Warren gonna get knocked up, just soaking up so much damage for this team fight. Solozak, if they can take Gato get down, will go crazy. But the Jinx stopping, or the Renata, excuse me, stopping that death. Solozak, if able to pop off just a bit sooner, might have been able to clean up. Egoist going in, trying to find Anivia, flashing out in return. Solozak and WGFY still looking for something here, but they don't have any minions to try to siege this tower, and Yunara on the bot lane is just pushing it in.
Yeah, kind of a useless TP there from Egoist. Unfortunately, once again, late to the party. That kind of seems to be the theme. He is really strong right now. Did, like you said, have a bit of an overextension, but teleport would have been better used to stop the Yunara getting that solo plating down towards the bot side, getting her an ability to get back in this game, to stack that coal. You never want her to have that kind of agency in the side lane. You should always try to be contesting it, making sure that she is useless. Because like we said, that is really their only win con. If this Galio remains and builds up these resistances, and that Yunara isn't in a position to be relevant, it makes it so much harder for them, for CMU, to have effective team fights.
Yeah, you just saw the power of the hostile takeover when you have an auto-attacking champion like Jinx on your team. We saw the hostile takeover just barely clip Solozak, and because that just autoed Beans down, unfortunately, for the side of Miami University. But they're still here in the driver's seat. 1.3k gold up as a team, and you still have those individual leads everywhere except for the mid lane.
Yeah, Beans, it was unfortunate, had a great flash over the Weaver's Wall using the ultimate, but it wasn't enough. With that clip, was just going to be shredded by her own teammate, and it's unfortunate how that works out. But Solozak, we did see kind of maybe a preview of him getting some ability to play in these fights.
Pride looking for something, will get the shove onto Beans, and that fish just got fried.
Yeah, that damage immediately turned into fish and chips, and it was unceremonious. It's kind of crazy. She has, I guess, the components and the items, but I mean that damage was kind of just a full combo, I guess, was all that was needed to, like you said, make some fish and chips.
Yeah, I think Beans got hit there with an Nivea ability as well, but you know, that was a lot of bursts from those two champions. X spotting CMU taking the Rift Herald. Ego is up there as well, just trying to dissuade them from taking this neutral objective. We see Anivia getting through the mid lane, trying to find their way up. WGFY backing could use the ultimate to get into this fight. As we see, something might break out here. Egoist just trying to heal up a little bit. Oh, Horn coming through. Gato going to knock up Egoist. Egoist not able to do anything here as he gets caught in between the Herald and the wall, but might be able to take Intoner Zero down. Isn't able to. Egoist on the back foot. The Galio from the backside. Solozak trying to find something onto Dark. Might pick up this kill. Dark forced to flash away. Meanwhile, X is picking up the kills, able to get the reset. Intoner Zero in the back is low. They get another kill. They get the Rift Herald. They get the kill onto the Nivea, and they'll just clean up this fight.
Solozak getting the Rift Herald kill, getting excited and able to capitalize off that huge Galio ultimate, the 3-man taunt in the pit, and that was all they needed. It looked a little dicey. Egoist getting taken down, trying to buy some time inside his death realm, but it really was the play by the Galio, the hero's entrance, that knocks them up and gets the taunt to follow up, and that is huge. And kind of reminiscent of almost like a Guma Yusi-like play, stealing that objective on the Jinx, and this will really break open the game. Jinx getting a ton of gold off that fight.
Yeah, Rift Herald going to be able to hit both towers, but the Jinx popping out will get knocked out. I don't think the Jinx is the one that you want driving that Rift Herald. Is going to do whatever he can to destroy the members of CMU. Is going to get the heal and the abilities from Nami to just run out of there. WGFY backing up, and Solozak able to escape with his life, only using the flash.
Well, the flash is a big deal. Obviously, you want to have any kind of ability to dodge all these skill shots in these team fights and cover up if a mistake is made. So getting a flash basically for free. I mean, he did drive the Herald into the Ornn. Ornn was able to capitalize, and also another questionable TP by the Galio, forced to expend his flash as well. So very little expended by CMU, able to get some pretty big summoners for the next incoming team fight. Baron Nashor now on the map. Still a bit early, but the Yunara is still in a position where she isn't super relevant yet. Jinx able to show her prowess in these team fights.
Yeah, that Jinx with the gold advantage, most gold in the game, has completed the Yontal arrows and the Infinity Edge. This Jinx is going to be hurting in this next fight. Meanwhile, WGFY just trying to push this bot lane out as they prepare for either this Baron or for this Drake. Probably the Drake first off.
Looks
Ocean
like they're
Drake, really strong.
trying to push in this mid wave, capitalize on some of these crystals.
Beans getting caught out again by Gato. Does use the Nami wave to dissuade them from fighting. And CMU can't chase that up. They're pinging into the jungle to fight in this river. WGFY able to dash out.
Separated from the rest of his team, though. Got to see if he can find a way back. He's trying to use this bush as a position, maybe trying to look for a sneaky taunt. Gonna make sure that they want to make sure that they have vision in that banana brush.
CMU getting pincered from the top as X is coming down. They are surrounded by members of Miami University. WGFY doing whatever he can, finding a two-man taunt for the side of Miami University. Gato on the bottom of your screen is being taken down, but the hostile takeover will dissuade a lot from Miami University. X looking for something. If he can get these resets here, the Jinx missile just missing everyone. The hero's entrance missing everyone. Gato is going to go down after using the Oranhorn. A little bit of a waste of an ability there, but they're still able to chase. WGFY doesn't find anything with the knockup, and that's going to be a lot used for one kill for Miami University.
Yeah, a lot of abilities just kind of flying wide there. It didn't really seem like they had a coordinated effort. He's going to benefit Miami University in the end. They're able to chase them out of the Dragon Pit and capitalize, but it was kind of, I think that Miami, if they played it a bit slower, got a better idea of what they wanted to do. They could have had a really great fight. They had great positioning on the Viego, but unfortunately, I mean, the Orin was the one who was ulted, and they took so long in taking him down, and CMU just kind of kited back. So the end result will be the Dragon, and looks like another tower for Miami, but I can't help but feel it could have been more.
Yeah, I mean, we saw something great there. It was a great pincer setup from Miami, but we saw a lot of, it looked like some miscoms. I mean, Viego went in a little bit too late. The hero's entrance onto the Viego where no one was there.
The Ornn missed.
Yeah, the Ornn ultimate as you're CC'd and going to die is a little bit crazy to me. But you know what? It's a net positive for the Redhawks.
Yeah, we'll take it. Listen, I'm never going to be mad about us benefiting from a Clown Fiesta. But then again, the blueprint was there. We are seeing slow and gradual improvements from Miami, their decision making. So it's encouraging to see that. Now, how can they leverage this position where they're up in gold? They have good control of the map. Baron is still on the table. I mean, I think it would take a pretty big team fight, but maybe they can use this position where they're at an advantage in the game. Jinx is close to building her third item, got the components online.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, Solozak just looks so much more comfortable on this Jinx than he did on that Jhin last game. I mean, has that 1.1k gold lead, is able to maneuver around in these fights, and just, you know, he likes to move a lot in these fights. Wasn't able to do that on the Jhin, is able to do that a lot more with this Jinx, especially once Jinx gets excited.
Yeah, just getting involved, I think, is the big thing. I think Jhin prevented him from kind of having the same kind of agency that he'd want, and eventually it would just be watching his team die and then getting picked himself. So, yeah, the Yunara still waiting to see to have a big kind of snap moment in one of these fights. But the comp for Miami is working as designed. We're seeing these front-to-back plays. We haven't seen a true front-to-back team fight since maybe the beginning. But I am excited to see how they leverage a lot of their beefy front line. Viego obviously sitting on a ton of items as well. Got the Collector, got the Kraken Slayer, looking like he is also building one of those Giant Slayer type items. And yeah, Crit Viego did receive a bit of a nerf a couple patches back, but still is incredibly lethal in terms of burst damage. A lot of squishies on the side of CMU, definitely wanting to facilitate those resets, making sure that he is hopping about through these fights.
I think the faster you can get rid of the Renata and the fastest you can get rid of the Yunara, you know, that's what you want to do for Miami. You're just going to have a lot more agency in these fights and let your Jinx do a lot more. But X is going to spot out Pride, and wow, the damage. Heartbreaker just destroying that Talia.
Yeah, crazy crit scaling on that ultimate ability is going to allow him, if he lands it, to just one shot, and that could just be the Baron. I mean, jungler being taken out, a crucial pick there. Great find by the Viego, going aggressive, big risk there, but it is going to pay off. Ornn in the area, but it's not much you can do against the Smite. Obviously, they made it harder in this new season to steal a lot of these objectives. They increased a lot of the resistances, and that means Smite is that much more impactful when taking them down. So when the jungler is dead, it really isn't a whole lot the enemy team can do to stop these Barons.
Yeah, Ego is taking that buff to the top lane, just trying to do whatever he can. But WGFY, in that last little moment, while Miami was taking Baron, didn't even have to rotate up. He was just continuing to push in that bot lane wave and was able to take probably some plays on the tower. We haven't seen the status of it, but was able to get a little bit of advantage there and a little bit of tempo on the map for the side of Miami. But Egoist might be a little bit extended here. Doesn't have any members to back him up, but there's Pride. Maybe does have the ult to find Pride. Won't get hit, but will by the Ornhorn, but will be found by the shove. Ego is getting the kill onto the Taliyah. Here comes the hero's entrance. Ego is doing whatever he can. Beans is here on the scene to provide some healing. The wave knocking up, and the bubble landed onto Gato, but that's not the member that you want to try and kill first. Meanwhile, on the bottom of your screen, X finding the kill onto Anivia while Beans is still chasing down Gato. Gato getting hit by the bubble, and the Jinx is going to try to get excited. All the members of CMU are going to go down. That is a huge win for Miami University.
And with the pincer maneuver there, they were able to sandwich them and the Anivia wall, making it that much easier to kind of cut off their escape. And it was huge. I mean, we saw a massive play. The hero's entrance really turning things around there with the Mordekaiser. Obviously an aggressive play. He knew he had the Death Realm to try and delay in case some of the enemies showed up. He was able to use that to dodge the Ornhorn, and that is going to mean, at the very least, it looks like an inhibitor taken down towards this top side. Respawn timers ticking down, and they're going to take that happily, as well as the Ocean Drake towards the bot side. That's going to be their third Drake, going to put them on soul point. So the next Drake will be incredibly consequential, and that is a 9.8k gold lead. A lot of it coming in the form of this Viego really capitalizing in that fight with the Anivia possession. Huge.
Yeah, and this gold lead for Miami, they're just building on what they started in the early game, carrying that advantage all the way through. I think that first blood for that Viego was really the accelerant for this champion, and that's the Taliyah just not able to do as much as this Viego. But I have to ask you, Devin, so far in this game, where would you put a player of the game vote?
Oh, it's hard to say, but I think this Galio has kind of impressed me. Like, I know that he hasn't been the most flashy his scoreline is not the most flashy, but I'd say his ability to provide CC and value in these fights has really turned the tide. A lot of what initially looked like maybe questionable or maybe could even be disastrous plays for Miami were turned by his hero's entrance. His taunts have been massive. It'd have to go that way for me. I'd say if not that, maybe the Viego has played pretty well too, is able to capitalize off of a lot of the team fights that we're seeing. Done a lot better in terms of securing control over jungle, going for ganks. And just as I say something good about the Galio,
a little skirmish breaking out here, but WGFY able to escape. But I do have to agree. I think WGFY taking one for the team, getting put on this more supportive, control-y champion for the mid lane has done wonders for Miami as a team, and it's allowed the team to do a lot more, especially this Viego and this Jinx.
Yeah, it's kind of like a band-aid for some of the mistakes that may have been made. I think champions like this are definitely going to, at least early on, are going to be really important for Miami as they start to gel with each other and really learn each other's playstyles. Something that can kind of mask some of the decision-making if there is mistakes. I really like that style of play. And obviously Galio is a pick that we're not unfamiliar with as a program. That was something that we saw highlighted a lot last season to great effect. So I'm glad to see it rearing its head once again.
Yeah, the Galio Camille's combo is something that we saw a lot last year. I wonder if Egoist has that in his champ pool to maybe bring the Camille out. So we'll see that again. Maybe, hopefully. I personally like that comp a lot, but Miami just going to start pushing out these waves, resetting for the next objective. We have Baron in 1:40 and the last Drake potentially for Soul in 2 minutes, 2:30.
Yep, Viego just going to be clearing his jungle camps here. Getting closer and closer to another item. He's got that quiver. Maybe he gets something on this back. Jinx also having that new item. I never got to explain what it actually does. Essentially, boiled down, it gives you additional damage based off of your range. And it's really, we see it a lot on long-range marksmen, kind of like Jinx and Caitlyn, where you can fire from a distance.
Yeah, the Hexed Optics C444 gives you additional bonus damage when you're from range, and then once you kill a champion from far enough away, it gives you bonus AD to carry into the next ones that you see. So that is a great item on Jinx, especially in tandem with the getting excited. That is a great pickup for solo Zach here.
Yeah, and it's definitely. I mean, I feel like for me, you're more the ADC guy, but this feels like a dream Jinx scenario. I mean, Gallia. I mean, sorry, the Viego might steal her thunder with that collector a little bit, in some of these team fights, because they're both very like, they love these really crazy skirmishes. But I think playing at this point when you have such a beefy front line, Nami backing you up, it's just a recipe for multi kills. So definitely curious to see how they can leverage that, maybe try and get another advantageous team fight and use that kind of as the straw that broke the camel's back to end this game and bring us to a game 3.
Miami posturing for this Baron. We'll see all the members of CMU with the Skyers Bloom. WGFY on the Galio and the ball lane is just pushing in, trying to siege this tower. But I think Miami's just going to take this Baron for free. CMU can't really do much to contest this, and it will be the Baron for Miami. I think they're going to head into a 1-3-1 kind of pattern, pushing in the top, mid, and bottom all at the same time, with the jungler floating, providing some support. But we see Ornn kind of getting collapsed upon here in the mid lane part of the jungle. Don't know if the members of Miami University have found the Ornn just yet, but WGFY using these Baron-empowered cannons to just siege this turret as the rest of Miami tries to take this mid inhibitor tower.
Yeah, CMU does have a little bit of range with the Anivia to try and burst down some of these, but oh my god, look at the damage that we're seeing come through. And they're just trying to break open the base. A huge hole there.
Egoist getting 2 members of the side of CMU. Solo Zach is excited, getting as many kills as he can. Won't find the one onto the Talia, just barely escaping with the Weaver's Wall, but the Ornn just getting sent to his death. I feel like that's going to be game here for Miami University. A strong showing in game 2.
Yes, the Jinx really showing what she's made of in that last fight. Another huge dose of damage courtesy of the Viego, and that will be Miami equalizing the series and taking us to an exciting game 3.
What a strong performance from Miami University. They looked a lot better in this game than they did game 1, and I think it's in hand because of that Galio mid lane pick.
Yeah, that's got to be my MVP vote. I think that was really the key for them to be in a position where they can have those explosive team fights, was the facilitation of this Galio. So many multiple man taunts, so many clutch heroes entrances, I think was the key for them to just break open the game. So really a big fan of that type of play style. I think Miami should start to lean more towards those types of compositions. And you know, they can start to experiment, but I think for now and where we are as a team, I really think that fits them quite nicely. So yeah, very exciting to see that.
How'd you feel about the Mordekaiser picked from Egoist? I mean, kind of dictating the lane pace still a little bit, but I feel like he was a little quiet. You know, Egoist is kind of a flashy player we saw on that Aatrox. Had a nice couple of clutch ultimates from the Mordekaiser, but I feel like it was kind of quiet.
Well, you know what? I actually loved it. And not for the reason that you might think. I think the Mordekaiser itself was fine. But the way that he played around his ultimate allowed him to kind of recover from a lot of his signature getting caught out at the worst time possible. Because with the entering the Death Realm, he was able to kind of create that mismatch where he would flash ult someone who was squishy when he was getting ganked, where it would normally, like we saw in the Aatrox, just result in him just dying in a side lane. But he was able to leverage that instead and buy enough time for that hero's entrance and then turn those situations around where he may still die and it may not be the greatest thing in the world, but he's getting in his team, putting the enemy team in kind of an awkward position where they're trying to collapse on him and get a pick. And then as a result, Miami was able to capitalize with the time that he bought with his ultimate. So I think he really played well around his Death Realm. And the pick itself, outside of that, you know, he played well, but he was into an Ornn. I think the Ornn had trouble hitting a lot of his abilities, which was kind of unfortunate. I really, again, as an Ornn connoisseur, it kind of pains me. I love to see when an Ornn does well, but it also is kind of boring for everyone else. So yeah, like how he played around with his ultimate. It really, again, like kind of those champions or those abilities that you can use to mask or improve some of your mistakes, I think are are definitely invaluable. And in certain situations like these where everyone may not be on the same page, which again is not unexpected. They're new, haven't played together a whole lot. When you can find that, and then it allows you to kind of circumvent some of those issues that you may have encountered earlier on, I think you definitely want to, jump at the opportunity for more of that. So maybe they can take that into account with their drafting. And yeah, really encouraged by what we saw. So I'm excited to see with the Fearless how we can continue with these positive developments in Game 3.
Yeah, well, the series is tied 1-1. The winner of the next game will take this series and get a win, or score one in the win column going into the next week, the next game that we have on Wednesday. But we'll get Game 3 to you just in a little bit. Again, the players are going to debrief, talk about draft strategies for next game, and we'll get that next game to you shortly. We'll be right back. And welcome back for game 3. We are already getting into draft, but the series is tied 1-1. The winner of this next game will take the series and get a check in the win column.
Yeah, that'd be really good for either team. Miami carrying on the momentum, starting 2-0, or CMU breaking their loss streak, getting that win in the column would be really important. So we see pretty similar bands. A lot of the Spellblade users, plus those engagey supports, could be taken off the board. Early rotation Mundo plus the Zach in response. I like that Lee Sin.
Wow, these bands are the same from last time, but this Zach, I think, is going to be a top lane Zach with Lee Sin in the jungle. Support Nautilus, kind of a tanky team that we see from Miami so far.
Yeah, interesting. So we see the Oriana to probably follow up. I imagine that's Pantheon jungle. So touching the ball. And yeah, very tanky, kind of bruiserish comp. We see, I imagine that's a Zach top to match the tankiness of the Mundo. Mundo, I really like as a pick. I think it's really effective. It's really good. It gives you a lot of ability to survive in these fights, similar to that Ornn we saw. So kind of getting put on weak side duty is the top laner of CMU. Seeing more bans come through. The Jacks, obviously something they wanted to address.
Rye's going to be the pickup for WGFY. Kind of a bursty mage once it gets scaling. And one of the utilizers of one of these new items that League has introduced, the Actualizer. Rise is something that we've seen in a lot of pro play, in LCK, a little bit in LCS, but the Actualizer is such a good item for that champion.
Yeah, Actualizer itself is really interesting. So it builds kind of more out of the mana-ish kind of Rise vein of items, and it's really cool because it basically, you pop it, you gain a ton of move speed, your mana costs double, but their abilities do a whole lot more damage. And as you can imagine, on someone like Rise, who functions like a core like machine gun ability spammer, he is what probably the best has the best use of this item in the entire game. So we are going to see the MF locked in, more of that team fight to go with the Nautilus and the Taric. I really love seeing Taric. I think that is a champion that is so underutilized nowadays. It is so good into so many angles. It is really good to kind of negate some of the engage from this Nautilus, and it gives you a lot of cool survivability with the ults in the team fights if used properly. Kai'Sa, I feel like Kai'Sa might struggle a little bit to find angles. There's so many ways to just CC her immediately if she used the killer instinct and she isn't careful. The Rise obviously can chain her with the root combo, Nautilus ulting, Zac obviously. There's a lot of ways for the Kai'Sa for it to be a little bit difficult to pilot, but ball delivery systems, you have the Pantheon, he can hop. I like the Oriana. I think he can make team fights a little difficult. I think Mundo could be a little bit of an X factor if he ever gets in a position to do some damage, or just be a side lane threat. He's a pretty versatile pick, which is why he's very popular. More so in the jungle nowadays, but I really like him top as well.
Yeah, I really like this MF pick. One of those just easy champions to pilot alongside this Nautilus. It'll be pretty easy for Solo Zach to get ahead if just playing a little bit safe. But like you mentioned, Taric, one of those staple champions in the support. With Kai'Sa, I don't see a lot of Kai'Sa Taric together, but I'm already envisioning Kai'Sa's E, the dash, helping out with finding the angles for Taric's stun as well.
Yeah, and it's very important, obviously, that he hits that ability because that's his only hard CC in order for her to actually engage. But that's still not too bad. It's not too hard. And it'll be interesting in laning phase. I think MF is definitely a power pick. She has so much damage with her passive, and Nautilus is always going to be looking for those cheeky hook angles. Lee Sin, if they're able to shred the passive of some of these tanks, or shred the passive of Mundo specifically. He's building all that HP. The kick, if he's able to line it up, is going to do some really big damage with that percentage max HP. But as far as other picks, I think the Zach is just a good facilitator pick. It's going to help in these team fights. Just going to be a blob running around, disrupting everything that they're trying to do. And yeah, I really like Pantheon. He's very, very strong jungler on this patch. He has been strong for a while, since last Worlds. And he is just so versatile. He has that similar global presence with his ultimate
Mm-hmm.
there in Starfall. He can kind of show up anywhere, anytime. And they decided to match that again with the Rise. They have the ability to kind of match some of those roams. And definitely Rise going to have more agency than the Oriana across the map to try and, because we have seen that where in these past 2 games, a lot of the roaming and first move, like through top lane specifically, we've seen a lot of Egoist moving down last game.
Mm-hmm.
That is crucial to have these tools, the Galio ults. They have been the difference makers. So we'll see if they can get the same kind of impactfulness out of this Rise, out of this Pantheon, and we'll see which team comes out on top.
Yeah, this Lee Sin, a little bit of a feast or famine pickup. If Lee Sin gets behind, it feels really bad to be the pilot
Yes.
behind that one.
So you
But
have to go in.
yeah, but with the Rise, like you mentioned, I think the Realm Warp will help find some of those angles
Mhm.
onto the things like the Mundo or the Pantheon or the Taric that'll just set it'll disrupt the CMU team.
Yeah, I like the Tarek though into the MF. I think it's really going to be good to disrupt some of the bullet time. That's a
Yeah.
huge part of her kit is important positioning, making sure that you're in a good position to cast that ultimate because that is a huge part of her damage and her utility. So if Tarek is smart about using his ult, is good with timing, that could be a huge pain in the side of Miami and their plan to go about the team fight because once that ult is expended, they don't have a ton of damage outside of
Hmm.
that unless the Lee Sin kind of gets accelerated. I think Rise is going to take some time to get to a point where he can really output steady damage that they might need. So it's either going to be a waiting game or they're going to be really good about using those abilities.
What do you think is going to be the determinant factor in this game? I mean, I'm looking at the bot side. I'm looking at the Nautilus and the MF. A kind of strong early game pairing. MF does a lot of damage with the passive of,
Mhm.
extra damage on that first hit.
Yeah,
And having the hard CC of Nautilus with the hook and the passive kind of might be able to take this game away if
yeah.
Tarek isn't able to land any of those E's and stuns.
There isn't one particular lane that stands out to me. So I mean, obviously the safe answer is always jungle. I
Hmm.
think jungle being able to impact a particular lane or set someone ahead early on or just gain an advantage just in creeps like we saw in the first game and really be more prevalent on the map is going to be I think very big. Both junglers are kind of the type that would want to be more aggressive. Pantheon, Lee Sin. We'll see how they can use their presence in the early game to try and influence some of the roles going forward. So yeah, I'm curious to see because I think that um, it isn't like last game where it's immediately clear there's going to be a mission.
Right.
So yeah, I think it depends. It's tough to say, and really we'll find out as the game goes on. But I'm excited. I think that we did see some kind of unique things make an
Hmm.
appearance, rear their head with this fearless draft. So it's interesting. We'll see how effectively we can pilot a lot of this unforeseen territory here.
Yeah, I'm excited for this Zach. I've seen Egoist on it a couple times, but it's just one of those champions that, you mostly see it as a jungler.
Yeah.
But as a top laner, Zach has so much sustain.
Mhm.
His passive, all his abilities create these little green globs or whatever color of the skin that you're using.
Yep.
And you can pick up those globs and it'll just restore a ton of health for Zach. So much sustain if you're hitting, enemy champions, excuse me. And I feel like Egoist again will be able to dictate the tempo of that top lane.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I think Mundo is just kind of like a I don't care what you do
Right.
type champion. He really, even more so than Ornn, is so the ability to just ignore the presence of
Hmm.
the other laner, just kind of Mundo goes where he pleases,
It's going to be a
Yeah.
sustain off in the top lane.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and then the good thing about Zac is he does have enough CC to kind of mitigate the passive in a way and set up for a gank. Um, but we'll see how well solo Zac can leverage that because I think Zac Top was a really popular pick. Not You don't see it as much anymore. It does offer a lot of utility in the team fights, a lot of crowd control, but definitely I would feel more comfortable piloting the Mundo personally, just in this matchup. Both champions, similar identity, but Mundo definitely more conventional.
But here we are back on the Rift for game 3 between CMU and Miami University. Whoever wins this game gets a check mark in the win column. And as I'm looking at the runes over here, I'm seeing that the Rise, WGFY, has opted to take Conqueror instead of Phase Rush after the nerfs to that Keystone just a patch ago. Or on this patch, actually.
Yeah, Rise, one of the biggest benefactors of that Phase Rush. Definitely going to help with his combos. But now with he's looking for more of the extended trades with the Conqueror, more strength in lane into this Orianna. Definitely going to be annoying with that poke with that Summon Airy. And we do see Glacial Augment. Everything looks pretty standard over there.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this bot lane for Miami. I think it's really important that this MF and Nautilus combo hits that level 2 before the Kaisa and Carrick, because that, the threat of the Nautilus hook is always there at level 2. And if they can find something early or, get Dark and Raspberry away from the lane, they can start building an advantage. And there we go. We see the level 2, and we see Nautilus looking for a hook.
Yeah, we see the hook land there. Kaisa going to be backpedaling, and just a disengage there. The Glacial Augment going to be mitigating some of that damage. Obviously, when you stand on that ice, your damage does go down. But great hook there by Beans, being early and proactive to try and cause some disruption in the lane. Where are the junglers? Where are the junglers moving?
Yeah, I think the junglers are they're moving on opposite ends. X decided to start with the Raptors and will be pathing down to the Gromp in the bot lane. Meanwhile, Pantheon started red, will be going up towards the top. I don't think Pantheon will be able to find anything really, but both top laners are looking kind of low as I'm looking at our health bars over here.
Yeah, push in the mid lane. Looks like Rise is getting a little bit of the better on that one. Otherwise, looking pretty even across the board here. Beans chunked out a little bit from that early play, but will still be looking for something, knowing the mindset of a Nautilus. Lee Sin, looking for a bit of... Looks like he has a cheeky invade here. Or no, never mind. He is, in fact, on the red team. Yeah, both junglers kind of opposite sides of the map. Egoist in a pretty good spot in terms of lane, getting the Mundo pushed back, but he has to be careful. Pantheon is in the area.
Yeah, Ego's doing a great job of just popping the spell shield that Gato can pick up with that Dr. Mundo. And of course, Ego is similar to Anivia, does have one of those kind of resurrection abilities with the passive.
Oh, big fight here, though. We see, again, that Glacial Augment kind of acting as a neutralizer for some of the action is going to benefit quite a bit. But the Q going to land there, a little bit of extra poke. The first strike taken by the Misfortune going to help a little bit with the economy. And maybe a play towards the mid lane, looking to see if maybe the Orianna will take the bait, extend. Q going to go wide there, not going to find it. And the Safeguard are going to come in. But here, another fight. Pantheon moving it, going to follow with the flash. And maybe looking for more here on the Lee Sin. Can't get too greedy. Q going to land. And the empowered Q, oh, it's not enough. He's going to walk out of that one. More so limp. And another hook landing, more action. Stun coming down, barrier through it. Well, the exhaust going to prevent any more action. Beans cutting it close, but both bot lanes remaining pretty low with blinking health bars.
Yeah, a little bit of unfortunate play there in the mid lane. WGFY trying to bait the Orianna a little bit so X could find that kick, but just doesn't find it. Great sidestep from Gray Swag in the mid lane, and of course, Pride was just there to provide some follow-up. A great flash to follow up and stun the Rise, and there's not much you can do after that.
Yeah, early game Rise getting on the back line, it's really hard for you to have that kind of agency. And good play. I mean, I saw the vision kind of baiting the Orianna into trying to follow up the low health on the Rise, but it ended up kind of blowing up in their face as the Pantheon was able to find the good counter gank and just hop on top of them.
But it's not a huge loss. It's just a first blood over to the Pantheon, which feels a little bit bad. It accelerates the champion that has strong base damages, but there's no objectives or anything like that they could have taken off of that back foot. But we do see Ego is going in a little bit onto Gato in the top lane.
Yeah, more trades coming out. I'm not expecting a ton of action in this game, or not a lot of action in this lane particularly. I think both laners are able to sustain themselves quite well. Shockwave coming through. We do see Pantheon in the air, once again able to hop on top of that Rise, trying to get the damage down. Let's see if he can get CC chained. The Safeguard going to come in. Empowered Q going to take down the Rise once and for all, but Lee Sin looking for more, going to Safeguard over the wall, chasing after the Orianna. Beans in the area, but not able to find him. Orianna able to be slippery and get out of that one, and that is going to be a 1-for-1.
Yeah, knowing that Rise doesn't have the flash allowed for Gray Swag to use the Shockwave to just solo ult WGFY closer to Pantheon, who again was able to stun him up and take him down. but it was really imperative that X got something on the back end of that fight, picked one up onto Pantheon, was looking for Moran to Goiswag, but a great flash away saved that Oriana's life.
A little mistake by Egoist there, taking 2 tower shots. Might actually pay a little bit for it. Going to be taking the Poison Cleaver to the face. Still has the revive up, so he's not in too much trouble. Mundo going to pick up that canister, able to get some health back. Egoist looking for more, and we'll see. He does have the Bomby Cinder, but it looks like he is opting to keep his passive. Going to back for now. Happy that that wave is pushed through, but I can't help but be a little wary. The Rise is being set behind, but the thing is, he's still up in CS despite the 2 times that he has died. And looks like he is still pretty much thriving in this lane. Going to be taking a pretty big trade there with the Oriana, but seems to be not too disturbed by the things that have happened.
Yeah, Rise, one of those champions that wants to scale, wants to get those mana, or those items, excuse me, that gives so much mana, the Actualizer, the Tear of the Goddess, things that just enhance, because of course, Rise is passive, gives him more ability power, as he gets more AP. So important that he builds, or mana, excuse me, as he builds those items. But Egoist in that top lane skirmish with Gato, you saw getting really low, but those blobs, being able to, you know, move his mouse correctly and pick up all those blobs was important for his survival there. But I'm excited to see a little bit more action in this bot lane. I'm wondering if Beans is looking for a hook. It looks like CMU is just going to back off and go buy some items.
Yeah, it's tough because I think Tark is just so effective into champions like Nautilus. I mean, even when Beans finds a fantastic angle, but hold on, Grand Starfall coming in. We got to see the shockwave, but is he able to rise ult out? He is, hops into the Realm Warp and uses that to get away. 2 ultimates invested on the side of CMU. Realm Warp no longer available, but that means he gets out with his life, able to collect the wave, and as a result also able to get the dragon. We saw that Miami knew that the junglers had gone for a play mid lane and are able to happily collect this.
Yeah, staying alive, super important there for WGFY. Able to sidestep the shockwave and the Grand Starfall and just hovered outside of the Realm Warp until it channeled all the way through. Just a great escape from WGFY that allows Miami to take this objective.
Yep, Egoist kind of on the back foot here, just trying to lane. Again, this lane, not too much excitement. It might get close at times, but we'll see. Hold on. Gato, Q going to go wide there, but Pride in the area. Egoist still has that passive, but he uses the E early. Not going to have that as an ability to get out, but maybe trying to take Gato with him. Raspberry in the area as well, going to provide the extra support. Is in that blob form. I don't know if that Miami wants this fight. Looks like they might just let Egoist fall, which they do, and that is unfortunate. Did have the E, but did not use it to disengage, and tried to take Gato with him, but Raspberry being there clutch, giving them the numbers advantage that they needed to take these Void Grubs.
X and Beans just a little bit too slow to the party, but that was really just unlucky for Egoist. He popped the ult, did whatever he can to take Gato down, but Mundo has so much healing from his own ultimate, which allowed him to stay alive. But of course, CMU going to pick up the Void Grubs off of that kill in the top lane. Miami did not want to contest that with the Solo Zac just farming in the bot lane and really no help there to contest at all.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm a little worried. I see the Pantheon being the recipient of a lot of this gold, and it's not the end of the world if the Pantheon gets fed. I mean, it's not. But you obviously don't want to see kind of a funnel that we're seeing right now into one member. I think Mundo's going to be happy no matter what if he has the ability to just, you know, do well in lane. And Kai'Sa obviously a scaling threat regardless. But this Rise, you know, still holding his own, has the CS lead. I am seeing a little bit of a CS gap towards the jungle here, which is interesting. I think the oh, hold on, we got a bit of a trade, not much though. He still has been falling behind a little bit of the CS. So hold on.
X finding a kick onto WGFY. They're going to follow up. The Shockwave going to catch 2 with Pride. Going to be able to stun them up and take them down a little. X getting really low, but the Q will find the sniper with the spear.
Yeah, and looks like this jungle is just continuing the momentum. Pride just happily collecting that kill, the good snipe from the Q. And now he gets to clear his own camps. And if I was Rise, I'd just be a little worried. He's doing all he can. You know, he's farming well, but Oriana, the recipient of 3 of these assists here, and I'm sure that Pantheon is just chilling.
I mean, as you're saying this, the Orianna does have 3 assists, but is still lacking a little bit in the CS department. If we're taking a look at our gold over here on the side, we can see that Rise does have a little bit of a lead, just 100 gold around onto it. But Pride, the richest man in the game by almost 1,000 gold. This Pantheon is making a huge impact early on in this game.
Hold on, we got a huge fight here. We do see Tarkle coming down, trying to keep the Kai'Sa alive. I think that they want to go on the aggressive, see if they can pick up that big max range Q. Bean's going to pick up that kill. A little unfortunate, but does not nail the kill and allows Miami's bot lane to continue pushing that wave. ADC going to be taken down on the side of CMU.
Yeah, just a good fight for the bot lane of Miami there. Picking up a kill is beneficial for the team. It's always good for the team. But there's no objectives on the map to carry that into anything else. Meanwhile, we see Lee Sin in here just kind of posturing, maybe towards warding the dragon, but instead will just go up to the jungle to clear.
Yeah, and we did see kind of the results of, or like an idea of that that Tarek ult and trying to use it for bullet time, but it just wasn't enough. Kai'Sa was already taken so low so quickly, and that's exactly what you want to see from that wombo combo. And yeah, I mean, the bullet time wasn't even used for that initial engage. We saw part of it, but yeah, I mean, just such a lethal combo. We got the Bloodthirster online now on the Misfortune, and yeah, kind of matching the gold lead of the jungler, which is pretty impressive given that he has 4 kills. So we'll see if they can fight through this Misfortune and kind of use that. It is really going to come down to these team fights. We've seen that the jungler of CMU has been really proactive on the map, so we'll see how well Miami can counter.
Yeah, BT already finished for MF. That's going to be a huge spike in power.
And Roa.
Yeah, for Solozak. Roa, good thing to get early onto this Rise. Early in stacking will give so much AP and mana when it's fully stacked. But it looks like they're going to posture here for this Hextech Dragon. But we do see that the quest has been completed for Gato. Does have that little bit of empowered TP, but here we go.
Snap engage here on the Rise, and if he gets taken down, it would be disastrous. See if he can get out with the Realm Warp, and he will, just by the chin, or the hair of his chinny chin. He's going to walk his way out of that one, but that surely means that they will be able to go for the drag. Can Miami contest? We do see an attempt TP by Egoist, but they are down a member. They play it slow. Maybe they can look for something. We're going to go in, and huge damage already. Bullet time coming through, and it looks great. The Hextech Drake going to CMU, but who will clean up in the fight afterwards? Solozak in no man's land with the Mundo going to be taken down, and now Egoist going to have to use that to get out. Grand Starfall coming through, trying to chase this Pantheon, going to get destroyed, and now Pride looking for more. Going to find it here onto the Rise. And who wins this one? Pride got the fully empowered ability, but Ego is in the area. Ooh! And just barely survives. Gonna collect that shutdown is huge. But the Dragon does end up going to CMU in the fight. Overall, I mean, it's still pretty even. Maybe like a 400 gold difference. Drakes are still split. At the very onset, it looked like an amazing fight for Miami.
Yeah, it's very good that Miami gets the kill onto Pantheon there on the back end. I mean, WGFY almost going down, but a huge Realm Warp to get both X and Rise out of there. But Miami, unlucky that they didn't pick up the Drake there. It was a great bullet time from Solozak, but an even better smite from Pride to be able to secure that. Egoist getting some damage onto Gato, but X is here, forces the flash from the Mundo.
Yeah, and you saw that Tarek was in the area. Maybe if he was a little bit closer, could try for some counter ganks. No Grand Starfall available just yet. Gato, again, trading in this lane. Backpedal here, try not to get grappled, lose that passive. But yeah, I mean, overall, kind of an even exchange there. Miami still doing pretty well. We see both supports have their item online. Like I said, that item is just so good. Raspberry, again, looking for a play up towards the top side. Let's see if Egoist senses something is amiss. Mundo ult going to be popped, stunned up. He does have his passive flash going to be used, and he is able to slingshot his way out of that one. And we do see that Miami's jungler was there to try and cover. but good disengage there from Egoist. That might mean the Rift Herald going over. It looks like they're heavily investing their players towards this top side to make sure they secure this one.
Yeah, what an escape from Egoist there. You saw the healing from the passives again, but a great slingshot just to get out of that. Did have to use the flash, unfortunately, but that's just a match for flashes in the top lane there. But CMU, of course, will secure this Rift Herald. They'll have that in their back pocket. But, Devin, I just want to look at the gold lead for a second. I mean, you see CMU has 3 kills onto Miami. They're 7-4. They're 3 kills up. But Miami has a 1K gold lead. They're just playing this map a little bit better when it comes to CSing and objectives.
Yeah, and setting the Kai'Sa behind is imperative. And just as I say that, Kai'Sa going to be kicked into the misfortune. We'll see if they can slow her up, secure this kill, and that is going straight to the Lee Sin. Kai'Sa again 0-3 now, and trying to just get back and find a place in this game. But this Rise continues to get stronger, and that might be what decides the game. Because if we're going to be even back and forth in the gold, if Rise is just able to scale and the, oh, hold on, may have caster cursed it, but Beans is in the area. Shockwave going to come through, do so much damage, and that is Rise falling. Beans trying to find a way out as well. The ball going to make it hard, and Pride will pick up the second kill.
Yeah, the Grand Starfell there, just not something WGFY was expecting, but the double kill onto Rise and Nautilus will allow for CMU to use this Herald to try to take this first tower in the mid lane. Don't have enough damage, but here's Egoist trying to do whatever he can to stop them.
Yeah, Egoist looking to see if he can body buffer, and we do have MF in the area. Does have that bullet time avail, or yeah, no, wait, does she? Yeah, she does have the ultimate available. No good angles there. Mundo there also to support, make sure that there isn't any area for follow-up, and that is going to be the turret in the mid lane falling.
Yeah, huge TP from Gato there, being able to secure the tower for the side of CMU. Does have the Warmogs built. That's going to give a huge boon to Gato. Have so much more HP, deal so much more damage to the side of Miami University. But I feel like the game is still really even. Each team has 1 tower. They're about even on gold. I think it's going to come down to a matter of scaling here in this one.
Yeah, or, you know, some crucial plays or picks before an objective could be big. But yeah, I mean, it really hasn't been. It's kind of been like these skirmishes towards the sides, the side lanes. You know, a picker there mid, or here or there mid. But it really, there hasn't been any super explosive team fights. Even when there was that contest over the Drake, it really just has kind of been a give and take back and forth. Solo Zach looking around here. Got to be careful. Pantheon always going to be on the hunt, looking for angles. Obviously used this Grand Starfall to great effect in this previously, but now more in these 5v5 situations, I think Miami really prefers when they're proactive, when they have first move, they have good control of this Dragon Pit.
Miami starting up the Dragon here will have the TP from Egoist to dissuade CMU, and they're just going to back up. They don't want to take that fight. I don't know if they win, but they don't feel confident in taking it. So they'll just back up. Another Drake going to the side of Miami University. It is that Chemtech Drake, and it is a Chemtech Soul that we will see if they get to that point.
Yeah, not a bad Soul. I think something to note is that we haven't had a Soul ever be taken so far in this series. Like, the Dragon stacking hasn't been a huge element. Oh, hold on. Turret hook going in. Pantheon being able to avoid a lot of that damage. Beans going low, and Solo Zach going to be ulted. Shockwave coming through. Romo going to get some of the members out, but now CMU is on the offensive. Grand Starfall coming in to surely to cut them off. Mundo there as well to support. Beans going to be taken down. Spear just going just wide onto Solo Zach. Egoist trying to run for his life. Will slingshot his way out of there. Use the Empowered Blast Cone to make his escape. But Miami getting a little greedy there. Looking for more. Hooking the Pantheon, not exactly what you want to do. It's so easy for him to press one button, avoid basically any follow-up, and there goes a lot of your engaged potential.
Yeah, it looked like a great fight at the beginning. I mean, Solo Zach had a great bullet time there, but it seemed like they forgot about the Orianna. It seemed like, you know, yeah. Orianna, just the Shockwave just finished everything, finished the bullet time, wasn't able to get the full damage there.
Yeah, making sure to get that bullet time uninterrupted is going to be imperative. But as long as the Orianna knows that and plays around it, it's going to be hard for Solo Zach to have the same kind of impact in these team fights. I mean, Kai'Sa still hasn't really done much. It has been definitely a Pantheon show. So we'll see how they can kind of adjust and play around that, because kind of not fighting on their terms or not getting control of the situation, kind of having that snap engage with Beans, didn't really pan out the way that they maybe had planned. We had a bit of a stall there, but we're back as Solo Zach building up that BT shield. Collector now online as well.
Yeah, taking a look at the gold grab here, it's just been a really even game all throughout. Only 1K being the difference, but a little bit of a fight breaking out here in the mid lane.
Again, another hook onto this Pantheon. I think it's really ill-advised. It's just going to result in Beans falling again. And you can't really, it's just never going to be the target that you're going to want to prioritize. And that could result in Baron. It is now 4v5. Let's see. Jungler still up on the side of Miami. They're going to try and contest, but they could do a turn. Baron actually taking some of the members quite low, but Tarek just going to heal them up quite easily. Egoist in, bullet time, going to cut across them. Doesn't find a ton. Is Tarek going down? But hold on, Egoist with the massive amounts of CC. Killer Instinct going to be used for a shield, but the ADC having to make their way out in Power Blast Cone. And Lee Sin wants more. Chasing. Egoist going to slingshot his way in, but can they find any more? The Make It Rain going to come through to slow, but can they use that to turn onto Baron? Gato still in the area, still healthy with the ultimate, but maybe they can use that. Backs being taken. No jungler in the area yet.
Yeah, huge bullet time from Solo Zach. It's just such a powerful ability being able to free fire over walls like that. Orianna wasn't there to get the shockwave, but Egoist just great disruption for the team for Miami University. They're going to try to take this Baron.
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot harder to steal, and maybe that might be disastrous. We'll see if the Grand Starfall can come in through the Pantheon. Gracewag almost taken down immediately. Slingshot on the way out. Rise still wrecking havoc in the pit. Grand Starfall coming through. Pantheon now here. Raspberry supporting, but now we see a big turn. A lot of Baron members are going to be taken down. Beans running for her life towards the safety of the top tower. I don't know if she's long for the world, though. We'll see. They don't have a wave, so it doesn't look like they can dive her effectively. Spear going to go nowhere. And that is Baron, but at what cost?
Yeah, that was a lot of 3 members, I think, of Miami University going down in that fight. The Realm Warp, I think it was a great look to try to get members out, but it didn't seem like they wanted to. I think Miami thought they could take that fight. However, X was the only one who did get sent away from the Realm Warp. He was taken out of that fight for a little bit, tried to find something on the bottom of the screen with the Orianna, but just didn't have the damage before getting killed there at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, and I think I get the idea from Miami, but you got to realize that with the Grand Starfall, Pantheon can join that fight so quickly from base. So it's important to just be on the same page. Listen, we got the Baron, we get out, we use it to get some more prio on the map, set up for the next dragon, play it slow. We don't need to coin flip these games on these types of scenarios. Even if the fight may look good, it's so easy for things to switch up with a moment's notice. So they do still have good positioning for this Drake. They are going to be able to kind of dictate the rules of engagement here, but Pride in the area stalking. Let's see, he's looking for a target to hop on. Hopefully Beans doesn't hook the Pantheon again. Hold on, so he does hop. Shockwave going to come through. Targ ult going to make all of them invulnerable. Bullet time coming through as well, but only going to find it on Raspberry. Mundo in the middle of everyone, and he is going to be taken down by the Misfortune. Pride still there, finding huge damage. Killer Instinct going to hop on top of Rise, is going to be taken down. Pride finding the Mundo, but is going to be taken down as well. Double kill from the Kaisa and more. Pride hopping on top, and now Lee Sin, and caught between a rock and a hard place, going to safeguard towards the turret, but walking up is a questionable decision there, and he might just get taken down, and he will. That is an ace for CMU and a disastrous fight for Miami.
Yeah, this Pantheon is just such a strong champion, does so much damage, has so much CC to just pinpoint one target and kill them. But man, I think Kaisa's really starting to come alive in this game. A double kill, or at least one kill for Dark in that. I saw a double kill for Gracewag as well. The combination of Pantheon and Orianna is just so strong. Being able to throw the ball onto Pride as Pantheon jumps in, activate the shockwave, group everyone up, and it's just free firing from there.
Yeah, I mean, if you start to lose track of the Kaisa, I mean, I can't blame them. The Kaisa hasn't exactly been the most impactful in the previous fights, but finding the Killer Instinct onto the Rise, taking out a lot of their backline, a lot of their damage, and Mundo just kind of walking straight into Misfortune's face unpunished while the Pantheon wrecks havoc is really a recipe for disaster. So Beans moving around
And you can just see how much damage this Pantheon is doing. Leads the game in damage, 28.9k. Pride has really made a statement in this series on these kinds of carry junglers. And game 1 on the Rengar did a lot of work, really put CMU on his back to carry the team, and is, working to great effect on this Pantheon in this game 3 as well.
Yeah, really doing so much in these fights to try and make sure his team is in a winning position. And he didn't even have to do too much on the MF. As long as the Rise went down, they just lacked the damage after that with the bullet time being used to really be meaningful in these fights. And they're just going to get picked off one by one. We saw the Kai'Sa start to reap dividends.
Yeah, the lead in this game, there hasn't really been one just yet. If we're taking a look at the gold, it's still a little bit even, but with those last 2 fights, CMU has really started to cement the first lead in this game. They're up 3.6k gold, but I think a lot of that is on that Pantheon. And, you really want it on something like the Kai'Sa, maybe on the Orianna. But yeah, Pantheon with a 5k gold, it is all on their jungler.
Yeah, and that can be a bad thing, but this jungler has not gone down. He has not been an easy target to find even when he is hooked. Pantheon has so much survivability. He has so much in his kit. Now picked up a GA. He's going to be even that much harder to take down. He said, hey, Zach, I see yours. Mine is better. And here we see the Rise still in the top lane. Might be in a really tough spot. Going to try and use that Realm Warp once again. Is going to be stopped, though. Shockwave coming down as well. TP a little bit too late, and now it might be a TP to his doom.
Yeah, they're pinging to fight this. Ego is just doing whatever he can to escape.
Yeah, he's so incredibly tanky. Going to try and buy some time, but I don't know if even they could take this fight. I don't know if they want it, just trying to get one of their own out. Beans in the area. Hook going to go wide, probably for the best, and now they are running. Kai'Sa landing the W, but really, I think Miami's just happy to get out there.
Man, Egoist, another just slim escape for the Zach, being able to get out of there. Didn't have to use the flash this time, but kind of a late TP that affected the team.
Yeah, it was a little strange there. I think going in at that point in time, it was a little too delayed of a response. But I like the effort, and I see obviously wanting to try and help. But at that point, you got to maybe cut your losses. It seemed like the Rise was just kind of in no man's land.
It just seemed like a little bit of a waste of a TP there.
Yeah, now they want to look maybe towards the Baron, but Pride going straight in, no fear, knows that really not much can harm him at this point in the game. And we'll see maybe if this angle can facilitate some of the bullet times, but it looks like no, Egoist is just going to be taken down pretty dry, and that will allow them to turn their sights towards the Baron.
A 12-3-9 Pantheon with a completed GA at around 28 minutes. Man, he just has so much aura on the Rift right now. Being able to walk up, face tank everything, knowing that he still has that lifeline ability, man, that's just a tough position for the Red Hawks.
And an interesting here, a pivot, maybe to go towards the mid lane, try and pick up some plating, but they know that that Baron is as good as gone, and it will be taken by CMU. And now Gato moving over, trying to see if something is amiss in their jungle. Rise still hanging about, trying to push in some of these waves, but Miami has to be careful. I mean, any misstep could result in disaster. And yeah, they're just going to be on the back foot for a good period of time. That Pantheon is just a raid boss at this point.
Yeah, Miami walking on eggshells. If they see the Pantheon, whoever sees him is dead. It's plain and simple.
As that,
yeah.
I mean, he's almost full build at this point. He is finishing up his last item outside of his boots. Orianna as well, 6-0 and 13 on this pick with this control mage, and has been able to just kind of piggyback off the Pantheon, that shockwave for added damage wherever they need it. And this Kai'Sa also coming into her own in these team fights. And now it just becomes like, where is Miami's ability to contest and do any damage in these fights? Like, even if Rise is able to scale, Pantheon is able to jump on him with basically no hesitation. It becomes so difficult for Miami to have any kind of agency.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at this Rise's items. We kind of talked about the actualizer at the beginning of the game, but with such a strong Pantheon, WGFY has had to pivot to building a Fimbulwinter instead.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just kind of a defensive play, but it is going to impact your ability to pump out damage in a lot of these fights. And I think it is a smart play because it means that you have a little bit more survivability. But at this point, where is the damage on your team? MF is not really going to be able to channel her ult as long as that shockwave is there. And It just kind of feels like their the expiration date has passed.
Yeah, Lee Sin's 2 levels down to that Pantheon as well, so Lee Sin's not going to be doing a whole lot in these fights. I mean, it was kind of Rise and MF doing all the work, but now you're kind of taking one of those champions out of the equation.
Yeah, definitely. And now it just kind of feels like a similar to what we saw in Game 1, just kind of a slow, gradual breakdown of these inhibitors of the base, and then just waiting for MU to overstep, to make a mistake, and then use that as the avenue to end this game.
Yeah, since CMU has gotten the gold lead, they've just been able to press it up against them.
Though. I mean, he's able to pop the ultimate. He's so incredibly tanky. We'll see not a ton of value. Bean's getting taken quite low. He's just running into them. Pride going to be taking another one. Bullet time coming through, finding some damage, but still the members of CMU relatively unscathed. Pride walking forward. Nothing is bothering him. Look at the damage from that empowered Q. Shockwave going to come through, taking out the Lee Sin, taking his head off. And now, could that be enough for CMU to march into the base? It looks like they are going to try and go for it. Look at these 3 grubs. So much. They have a wave, 3 cannons. It is getting, oh, but the flash to come through on the Rise. Zanya's is going to be exhausted, still alive, going quite deep. They might get some back here. We'll see. Egoist trying to play bouncer for the Misfortune. Gonna flash forward, gonna find more. And maybe CMU greeting. Triple kill for the Misfortune. Big play there. And we'll see if Miami can use that.
Yeah, right before that fight started, MF, Solozak being able to pick up the Collector, which just helped secure those 3 kills on the back end of the fight.
Or I think it was the LDR.
It might have been the LDR, but it does have the Collector too. I saw the executes go through. But another kill on the Dark got a kill on the back foot there too. Ego was chasing down a little bit too hard there for the kill, greeted a little bit. But it's still so hard for the Redhawks to come back in this game. You saw there was just so much healing during the sieging, but they don't have any anti-heal, the Redhawks. There's nothing stopping that Mundo from regenning all that health, from Pride regenning off of the Sundered Sky. It's just the only anti-heal I see is on Beans with a
no, we have
the items blinking.
Is that Oblivion Orb?
It is Oblivion Orb. Egoist,
yeah, so he does have an Oblivion Orb because his application with a Thornmail isn't that great. So yeah, Oblivion Orb going to be picked up for some application because they don't really have the greatest. They do have the Thornmail as well on Beans, but it's okay.
See, I think Thornmail is just kind of fake though. Like,
yeah,
all you have to do is just not hit the Nautilus, and you don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pivot to the Oblivion Orb. I think it's kind of a waste of gold personally, especially if you are in the position where you are the Nautilus and just don't really have a home in this game. It just kind of seems like unnecessary. And now they are turning their sights towards this top lane tower. Rise in such a tough spot, immediately going to be taken down, and that might be disastrous. Let's see. They're going to grab this top tower, continue pushing, thinning out the wave here. Beans trying to protect her ADC. The waves slowly marching in. Miami can thin this out. They don't have a ton to work with. Maybe they try to pivot towards the mid lane. TP going to be channeled. What was that?
That was an interesting TP from Egoist there.
So that's a lot of missing pings come through. Maybe it was just doing it for the shield. Pride, a little low on HP for the moment being. Does have, I believe, it says that the GA is ready, but I don't see it. Egoist thinning out these waves towards mid lane. Inhibitor still a while till it respawns. And they are turning their sights back towards the Baron. They need a little bit more juice to end this game. And that they noticed that when that Baron expired and they were pushing into the base, they did get stopped. So this could be the thing that finally pushes them over the edge, allows them to wrap up this game. Now 35 minutes, just shy of 35 minutes. So Miami putting up a good fight, but like I said, this comp definitely feels like it has an expiration date, and now the milk is getting a little chunky.
Yeah, I think this Baron is the final nail in the coffin. We'll see how CMU can utilize this to put pressure on the base, but the defensive by Miami, hasn't been too bad. I mean, we saw that one fight where Solozak was able to pick up a triple on the back end of things, but it looks like CMU is going to try to get Soul Point, or the Soul rather, to end this game. We'll see if Miami can fend them off one last time. I said this game a little bit, but it's not looking too good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the odds are definitely not in their favor in that regard. Chemtech Soul going to make them so incredibly durable. And even if they do what they did last time, which is like all dive the tower and not kill the ADC, I think even then they still are looking quite scary. The Rise doing his best, trying to make sure that he has as much gold, as many avenues as possible to try and fend them off. But it looks like they might just march down. It looks like they're going towards the top side. And they didn't. It looks like they are just kind of 5-man A-ramming it. Got to respect that. Maybe Beans will be there to meet them. I'm a little wary of her moving up that much. Could be in trouble.
I think Beans just trying to get a little bit of a vision. I mean, you can't really see, if you're MU, you can't really see all the CMU players just grouped up in the top lane, just trying to find something. But we do see, I think this might be our final fight of the game, Devin.
Yeah, pushing through these Baron cannons, munching through that tower. And let's see, they're backing off a little bit. They did get the Baron-empowered minions down, but there is another wave on its way. And this could be it. Like you said, they find one good pick on this Rise, onto someone. It could spell disaster. Beans on the side lurking, see if she can find an angle for a hook. Rise walking up, got to be careful. Inhibitor respawning towards the mid lane. Tower still alive, but Gato, look at the survivability on this Mundo. He's just able to regen this house so easily, play frontline. And now, Root going to come through, not a lot of follow-up, going to be able to mitigate most of that.
This
Tower
is like
going to go down though, and that might be all they need. Pride looking, hopping, is going to find it. We see the invincibility coming through, and now it is just feeling like it's a matter of time. Big ultimate there, big bullet time, but the shockwave going to be dodged, but it's just too little, too late. Pride going to take them down. Still has the GAs running through the
Solozak's doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, Solozak trying his very darndest, but Egoist is going to be taken down as well. Beans flashing out, and Rise, I don't know if he's going to be enough at this point. Mundo doesn't even look like he's been in a team fight, and Raspberry supporting from a distance is going to get hooked there. Rise trying his best, but the Nexus will fall, and that is CMU taking the series.
CMU going up 2-1. They take this best-of-3 game series, which puts Miami at 1-1, and CMU stopping this losing streak that they started.
Yeah, definitely really well played by CMU. I think they composed themselves. It was a bit of a back and forth again. I think these two teams are very competitive. I think it was a good matchup. But CMU being able to clean up some of those mistakes, making sure, and really figuring out their methodology in terms of playing through their jungler. It seemed like when their jungler is ahead, when their jungler is thriving, finding plays on the map, they can, kind of just, reduce the amount of mistakes that they're making, play around him, facilitate his ability to carry these team fights. And yeah, I mean, they just kind of outlasted what Miami's recipe was, and kind of had their number.
Yeah, again, this is a very new team for Miami. They haven't spent a lot of time playing together. So I can only assume that as they get better, as they work more together, they'll only get better. And we'll start seeing those wins rack up against, these pretty decent teams that we have in the ESC conference.
For sure. I think that we have pretty staunch competition. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see close games. And I think that Miami will start to dial in what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what do we don't like. And yeah, I mean, I think the signs of life are there. There's a lot of good stuff that they can build on, they can take away from this series. So yeah, I mean, make sure to continue to watch them and their journey. I think there's a lot of excitement around this team. We were able to make huge strides last season. So I'm just so thrilled to be back for some more Nace. We're in Nace now. We love the Nace.
Yes, we
accent.
do.
We don't want a Nace Jace. But yeah, we would love to, if you guys would stick around, keep tuning in for these streams. There will be more action soon. So
yes, I think I speak for the both of us where we say that we are so excited to be here again presenting League of Legends, all things Miami University to you all. And of course, please tune in on a Wednesday night, same time, 8 p.m., where we'll have our next game. I'm not sure who we're playing, but I'm sure it'll be a great matchup. See if the Redhawks can get a check in the win column.
Yeah, stay tuned for Redhawks GG Twitter. Any updates, you will be the first to know about what our activities will be when our league streams will be happening, who will be playing. So yes, make sure to stay in the know to follow. And I've been Devin, TheDoc O'Connor.
I've been Isaac Rhythm Arredondo.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great night.